All right, hi everybody. Okay, emergency stream happening as the Bulls are actually making moves. I mean, oh my god, there's a lot going on right now, and I am just getting up to date with everything. The Ivey trade happened when I was in class, so I'm a little bit late to it all, but this just happened like 6 minutes ago. The Bulls actually just traded Vucevic for Simons, and I can't believe that this actually did just happen. I'm genuinely shocked. I am genuinely shocked that this just happened here. But we got other moves to talk about as well. So this stream's gonna be about just kind of getting some initial reactions, talking about the money, the salaries that are being exchanged here, and just talk about how we grade the Bulls' moves here. This is actually pretty insane. As of right now, I'm pretty pleased. I won't lie. It's been a long time coming, it feels like, for AK to actually kind of make some proper moves, and this Vucevic move is honestly better than anything I expected. This move, we'll talk about it. There's definitely some parts of it that are a little bit kind of hairy for the Bulls, but overall I think it's a good decision. But we're gonna get into all this. If you could hit the like button on the stream, helps me out a lot. I sincerely do appreciate all the support this season. Yeah, emergency stream, we gotta talk about all the stuff that's happening here. We're going to jump into this, and I'm going to go ahead and update the salary cap situation for us live. I won't lie, the Bulls have a lot of decisions to make all of a sudden again. Even with all of the trades that are happening, which I think are overall good, there's a lot of decision making that's going to have to happen in the next 48 hours for the Bulls here, including Simons, because I'm interested to see exactly what the Bulls do. We have a shit ton of guards, and we already had a shit ton of guards, so I don't really know what exactly the plan is for the Bulls, but I'm absolutely interested. As you see, your spot track is not even loading because it's just absolutely on fire right now. So now, Patrick, so hype we got Simon. So, I'm just gonna say temper your expectations for just a second, Patrick. Simons is obviously, he's been a very good sixth man for the Boston Celtics this season, but my only thing is just, I think you should temper your expectations just for a second, because I have a feeling, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but I have a feeling that Simons could just be traded in the next 48 hours. Now, he is making a good amount of money, so I don't know how exactly something like that would be pulled off, but if a team does want to kind of like get some scoring off their bench, or maybe even in their starting lineup, because he's played pretty well this season, a team might actually be willing to trade for him. So I don't know if we should be thinking that Simons is going to be here long-term just yet. He is also on an expiring contract. So there's a lot that we still have to discuss here. So again, I just want to say temper your expectations for Simons for now. We will talk about this deal, I think, first here, because this is the most recent deal. But yeah, I don't think we should be thinking automatically that Simons is going to be here long-term. Just yet. It could happen. I'm not saying it's like, oh, he's gone. I'm just saying that we might need to kind of think for a second. It's like, oh, this might have been just to get Vucevic off the books here. And honestly, I would praise the Bulls a lot if they did this and then actually would just go ahead and flip Simons right after this to go and see if they can get some value in return. I'd be pretty happy about it overall. But we have to wait, right? Sorry, hold on. I just hit the wrong thing. Hold on. That's my schoolwork. Come on, Spot Track. We need you more than ever right now, man. It's so important. All right, let's just go ahead, and I was gonna pull up the Boston Celtics just contracts, because oh, that's not gonna work. There you go. All right, so let's talk about what exactly is going on at this moment in time here. I'm also gonna pull up the Bulls just because this is gonna help us, because Spot Track's down right now, because that's great. All right. So, what just happened here in this trade? the Bulls just traded Vucevic and a second round pick. We don't know exactly the details just yet, unless someone's tweeted it out, and I just haven't seen it yet. And the Bulls got Anfernee Simons and a second round pick in return. And so if you're wondering, can this deal just happen straight up? Yes, it can. The contracts for Vucevic and Simons absolutely work out. The $21 million matches $27 million. That works totally fine. And so we don't have to really worry about, I think for now, we don't have to worry about any other players being moved in this deal as of right now. Again, I do not know any details about the second round picks just yet, but we will see. But the Bulls, they traded Vucevic in a second for Simons and a second, okay? Now, what am I looking at right now in terms of for the Bulls, and like what are they gonna do with Simons? Simons has kind of been a little bit in like the trade market, like just a tad bit when it comes to Boston. Now, I'm a little bit shocked they agreed to this, honestly. The only thing though is that when it comes to Simons, he is 26. So do you put him with the young core with this Bulls team? I'm not really sure. But I think there's honestly an argument to be made that the Bulls should just go ahead and just flip him. If you're wondering, it is perfectly legal for the Bulls to go ahead and just trade Simons if he is basically not being aggregated with any other contract and send him back out alone, pretty much. And so I think, honestly, if you kind of look at it this way, it's like the Bulls, they traded Vucevic in a second for Simons in a second, and if they go ahead and just flip Simons, right, rounders or something like that, it's like, all right, hey, you turned Nikola Vucevic, who I thought had negative value, and I'm honestly shocked Boston agreed to this deal, and turn him into like 3 second-round picks or something like that. That's an absolute win. So I'm interested in seeing if that does happen. My other reason why I think that Simons has a good chance of being flipped here is that the Bulls just traded for 2 more guards in the Conley and Ivey deal. We still haven't traded Kobe as of this current moment in time. Now, I do expect Kobe White to be traded, to be traded from very, very soon right now, because I don't see any reason why you're going to keep Kobe if you just traded for Ivey. And also, if you are going to keep Simons, you're not keeping Kobe White. Simons, is, I would argue, is honestly just better. But that's the reason why, though, just all the guards on the current roster, right? I could see Simons going out right now, and the Bulls just flip him to some other contending team. So, again, just temper your expectations with Simons. I think the one person that I think is going to definitely be staying is Jaden Ivey. Because, like, I don't really see why the Bulls would make a deal for Jaden Ivey like that, and then look to just trade him in, like, the next 48 hours. That doesn't make any sense. Jaden Ivey, I think, is going to be staying. We'll see about Conley. I mean, there's many options with Conley, honestly. I think the most obvious is just to waive him, but we will see what ends up happening there. But again, I don't want to just say that, oh, we got Simons for the long haul. Like, I don't want to say that just yet, because I can see him getting traded in the next 48 hours right now. So we're going to go ahead and just update our current cap sheet to kind of see where the Bulls are at right now. When it comes to their current salary situation. And again, the Bulls are going to avoid the luxury taxes as you know, as always. But we also need to start looking ahead in terms of the cap space for the next offseason. The Bulls have not added any long-term deals as of just yet, even with all these trades. Every player that they've acquired has been on an expiring contract. So that is important to go ahead and look at here. So I'm going to go ahead and update and take out Nikola Vucevic for Anfernee Simons here. And I'm going to go ahead and just copy and paste his current contract into my own spreadsheet here, okay? We also traded Kevin Huerter. So if you're just tuning in and want to know exactly what's happening, the Bulls have traded Kevin Huerter and Dario Saric, who we just acquired, to Detroit. And we got Jaden Ivey and Mike Conley in return in a 3-team deal. Overall, just from the looks of this right now, I like this deal. The only thing, though, just to keep in mind is that Jaden Ivey is going to be a restricted free agent, okay? So the Bulls have to actually go ahead and make a decision here on what they're going to do with Jaden Ivey this upcoming offseason, okay? However, Jaden Ivey has had kind of a rough year, I won't lie. And so they're going to have to kind of make a decision of, you know, with how well he's played. Like, do we go ahead and actually pay him, or do we go ahead and you know, maybe move on? But I think obviously the Bulls have full intentions to keep him, right? but you're gonna have to play the cat and mouse game again of like, all right, how much are you willing to be paying to Jaden Ivey when you have the leverage? He's a restricted free agent. 10, 107, 163. Okay, sorry, I just had to go ahead and just keep that in mind. Okay. Also, Dario Saric is gone, so we're gonna replace him with Mike Conley. And if you're wondering about how Saric was traded in this deal, Saric for Conley works straight up, and the Bulls then, I have to look at it again. Keith Smith kind of talked about it, but like it looks like, oh well, Saric was just aggregated or just was combined in another trade here. How's that possible? Because like he was just traded, right? It is technically like a separate deal, so I'll show you exactly how the Bulls just did that, but I have to get Conley's contract in the books right now. 10-7-7-4-0-3-8. Okay. Okay. That's good. Now, I think this is going to be pretty crucial for us, so I'm interested to see what exactly the Bulls are going to be doing here. But I'm going to go ahead and put this in blue for us just to know that this is a cap hold that I'm going to be looking at. I don't know the exact number here, but I'm just going to go ahead and just look at this. Oh, wait, that actually doesn't show it. Okay, great. So we're just going to go ahead and say this is just going to be $30.3 million. Again, this is a cap hold for Jaden Ivey. So we're going to go ahead and just make this blue just for us to keep in mind, okay? All right. Sorry, hold on. I'm getting notified about a bunch of things. All right, what's going on, y'all? What's going on, Box? Kevin Huerter, Nikola Vucevic, and who's next? Yeah, we'll see, man. I'm excited to see who else they're gonna do, because like so far, I think the Bulls have done pretty decent. I have to just wait and see though. We have to be a little bit patient here. Yes, I'm very happy Vuce is gone. With Simons and Kobe, we might get into multiple deal. I do think that there is that possibility. Now, again, we cannot, after we just traded for Simons, we cannot take his contract and then like someone else's contract, put them together, and then that's like what's being sent out and what we can then take back in. It has to be a separate deal for Simons, right? He can only be traded by himself right now. But I do think, you know, again, he's making $27 million. That's a lot, right? The Bulls can get pretty creative here with that $27 million. The Sticks era has officially began. Maybe. We'll see. I was kind of thinking that Jalen Smith was going to get traded, actually. But, I mean, we'll see. I'm honestly very interested to see what's going to happen. A lot of picks coming our way. How many second rounders have we gotten? So as of currently right now, the only second rounders that we have like accumulated and we haven't sent out anything were the 2 second rounders in that Cavaliers deal with DeAndre Hunter going to the Kings, and we got Dario Saric back, and we got 2 second round picks, right? As of what I'm seeing right now, the Bulls have only just, you know, they've only net profited 2 second round picks at this moment in time. In the Vucevic deal, we sent out a second round pick, but then we also acquired one, right? So we didn't net anything from that. That was just even. Now again, I don't know exactly the second round picks involved, but right now we didn't like add a second round pick to our collection as of this moment in time. That'll also just try to get Messi or Misi. Well, it does seem like that might be a high possibility right now with Vucevic officially gone. I cannot believe Vucevic is gone, first and foremost. I'm very happy he's gone. If you're wondering why Boston did this, it did save them some money in terms of the luxury tax. And I'll bring up Keith Smith here in a second on Twitter, but it did help them save some money. But I'm interested to see what else they do now, because they might have another idea. How does Kobe market look right now? What we've heard so far, it hasn't looked too great. The Bulls are struggling to get a first round pick right now for Kobe, which is, I mean, I'm not shocked by it. Some Bulls fans are shocked by it. I'm not shocked at that. But right now, I think if you're the Bulls, like, you just need to just accept whatever the best deal you can get for Kobe is right now. That should be fun. I'm probably the happiest I've been in a while. It is a good day. It is definitely a good day that Vucevic is officially gone. And the Bulls actually got something back. Like, I do think that we're going to probably see Simons get flipped here. And so you're just going to have to take whatever Simons gets flipped for that you trade into Nikola Vucevic for whatever the return is for Simons. So I'm pretty happy right now with that deal overall. Vucevic 35, aka Mark obviously managed to move him. It's a big W. It is definitely a big W that we actually got Vucevic off the team here. Now, granted, I will say this. Simons, as good as he is, and again, he's been a very good six-man off the bench for the Boston Celtics this season. He is making more than Vucevic, obviously. So we'll see what exactly is a possibility for him to get traded to. I have to start looking around of like who might want him. But there is a world, honestly, where like he might not get moved, right? Now, obviously, I'm very happy. Like if you told me that, okay, you get to swap Vucevic for Simons, right? Yeah, I'm definitely doing that deal. That makes a lot of sense for us. I don't need Vucevic around this roster anymore, and Simons is just better. But I do expect him to potentially get flipped here because again, Simons is on the last year of his contract, and so if you're the Bulls, then like, again, are you going to be paying him? Like, you also just got Jaden Ivey. You're going to have to pay him as well. And so are you willing to let him, see if he's going to just maybe leave an unrestricted free agency? Are you going to risk it? We'll see. But again, like, Vucevic for Simons, big thumbs up from me. That's a great deal overall. You have 2 days to trade Kobe. I wouldn't rush into it. I agree with... like, or let me say this. Yes, it is definitely like, yeah, we have 2 days, 48 hours basically to go ahead and trade Kobe right now. My only thing though is just that I do think that with Kobe, like, I feels like every day, like, it feels like his value just keeps going down. And we have a game tonight, right? Like, if I'm the Bulls, I would hope that you're just gonna just make sure that Kobe is not like. If he is going to play, you better be very careful with that. Like, I'm just very concerned that, like, Kobe gets injured or something today. But it's very important right now that the Bulls make sure that he is not injured tonight. And just treat him very carefully. So if Kobe rests, I'm all for that. We need to make sure this man is not just going to suddenly just get injured all of a sudden. Want to hear what you think about Ivey? Is he a long-term piece? So... when it comes to Jaden Ivey, before his ACL tear, I mean, I love Jaden Ivey. I loved him a lot. He was very good in year 3 before he had that collision. I believe it was with Cole Anthony. I have to double check, but he got hit into his leg and he tore his, I believe it tore his ACL. Maybe it was his meniscus, but I'll double check that. But year 3, Jaden Ivey was very good. Like, I was very impressed with the leaps that he took in year 3, but he obviously, it was a short season. It was very, very short for him, unfortunately. This year, unfortunately, I see, he's returned from his injury. He had a slow return. He didn't come back on opening day, obviously. He eventually did come back, but, like, he's just not been the same. Now, look, he's missed a lot of time, so I don't expect him to be the same after a pretty... extensive injury that he just suffered. But I'm gonna be. I overall think the Bulls are gonna look at him as a long-term piece. I would also look at him as a long-term piece, but again, I want to make sure though that if you're the Bulls, because again he's gonna be a restricted free agent, you better not overpay him, because like right now the Bulls have a lot of leverage on him because he's not had a good return so far. He definitely doesn't look like the same player he was, which is kind of my like concern about this deal. It's just like, I don't know if Ivey's ever going to return to the player that he was before. But again, if you had to just go ahead and just give up Kevin Huerter only and take the risk on Jaden Ivey, I think it's absolutely worth it. Like, I didn't look at Huerter as any sort of value on this roster moving forward. He was just an expiring, and you went ahead and got Jaden Ivey as he's going to head into restricted free agency. Like, that makes a lot of sense. So overall, I think the Bulls did a good job with this idea. My only concern though is just the production from Ivey this season. He's coming off the bench; it just hasn't looked the same. The shooting looks good for Ivey. The defense does not look good. Like, his explosion that he had does not look the same as before. But again, it could just be that he just needs some time. Jamal Murray, for example, when he had his big injury, like, it just took some time for him to kind of get back into Jamal Murray form, and obviously he's an all-star this season, right? So I think it's definitely worth the risk here for the Bulls. I do look at him as a long-term piece. He's basically just replacing Kobe, and I expect him to be cheaper than Kobe, honestly, with how his season has played out this year. So I think it's overall a good decision. Again, though, I have some concerns with Ivey. I'm gonna have to see how he plays with the Bulls this season, as he's still trying to get back to 100% here. And then we're gonna have to kind of judge it. But again, I think it's worth it. The Bulls might have already been planning on going after him anyway, and instead you go ahead and trade for him now, get the leverage on him, and so you're gonna have his bird rights, and you'll be the incumbent team in his restricted free agency. Like, yeah, makes a lot of sense to me. I'm very overall happy with that deal. I saw the projected contract for Ivey's 4 years, $90 million. I'm gonna probably guess it's gonna be a little bit lower than that. I'm gonna probably say it's gonna be around 4 years, 70 million, honestly, like 70, 80 million. I think it would probably be a little bit more reasonable. Because again, Ivey has not really started this season. He's come off the bench for most of his games, has not really performed the best. So I think, again, the Bulls have the leverage right now. So if you're the Bulls, like, you should use that. Try to get him at as cheap as contract as possible, just in case, like, if he doesn't really ever return to form, then it's not going to kill you, right? Fine Low on Ivey is also really good because even though this is a down year, it smells so much like an off year to me. I agree with that assessment. Like, the way I look at Ivey right now is just kind of how, like, when Jamal Murray returned from his injury, like, he just didn't look the same. Like, it was just kind of like, like, I mean, are you ever going to return back to form? But it just took a little bit of time, right? I think this is definitely worth the risk. It 100% is. Again, though, I just don't want the Bulls just to, like, go ahead and just give him $100 million just, like, right off the bat, right? They need to try to make sure it's going to be less than, $25 million annual average salary heading into this offseason. And if they can do that, big thumbs up for me, because then I think it's definitely, like, solid contract. You got him locked up for probably, I'm going to at least guess, like, 3 years, ideally more. And you get to kind of just gauge how he is. Broken fibula, that's what it was. Okay, sorry, my bad. Maybe all I need was a change of seat. Well, I mean, obviously, the Pistons right now are in a full-out, like, they're in contention mode. And Ivey definitely hasn't had the best season. And so, if you're the Pistons, like, you're looking to try to get some help now. And they weren't going to re-sign Ivey this offseason because they have to go and pay Jalen Duren a big contract because he's turned into an all-star, right? So Ivey was definitely not someone that they were going to keep. And so they go ahead and they just send him out now, right? And I honestly am a little bit shocked that they accepted Kevin Huerter because, like, Huerter's been awful from three-point range this season. It's been a dreadful year from him. But he does offer some size and, like, he can kind of do some other things as well. But, yeah, I'm a little bit shocked that this is the deal that they decided to do. But it does make sense, right? I think Ivey's value is pretty low. The Bulls go ahead and make a buy low move. And again, they plan on keeping him, so why not just get him now? And he's a restricted free agent. This is a different situation than if he was an unrestricted free agent. If Ivey was an unrestricted free agent, then this deal wouldn't make any sense at all. But because he's going to be a restricted free agent, this makes a lot of sense to me. I think this is honestly a very solid decision for the Bulls. And so if you're wondering what I'm kind of looking at right now, what exactly I'm just, like, kind of just surveying here. So I'm assuming that Mike Conley is just not going to be here after this season. Might get bought out. Might just get straight up waived. Might be in another deal here just to kind of send him off to some contender. Who knows what exactly is going to happen, okay? I think Kobe's gone, all right? I think that's important to keep in mind, that I think Kobe White is most likely just going to be gone here, okay? Now, the Bulls are going to have to make some decisions because I think Simons is not going to be here. But we'll see. If he is going to be here, though, then his cap hold is pretty high. It's going to be $41 million. So that would basically, if the Bulls kept Simons and actually looked to try to keep him, his cap hold would basically negate any sort of cap space we would have heading into the offseason. Now, obviously, things would change once guys would sign contracts. For example, if Ivey, he has a cap hold of $30 million, but if he signed a contract that's only worth $18 million, then this number would change to 18. The Bulls will get more cap space out of it. But heading into the offseason, though, with all the cap holds still in place, like, we'll have to kind of see how it's going to work out. But right now, the Bulls, they're still in, like, a pretty decent spot in terms of financial flexibility right now, which is good. I'm happy that they have kept their financial flexibility at this moment in time. But now it's about, what do you do with Simons, right? I think Simons is going to be a high priority to go ahead and maybe try to flip here, which I think would be overall a good decision. What do you do with Conley? He has not had a good year. Conley's had a very kind of bad year. but it's expected. Father time has hit him. Very great career from Mike Conley, but it's just unfortunately, he's just definitely not worth $10 million. So you might just end up waiving him. And how you gonna make this Kobe deal, right? Like, I think Kobe needs to be 100% moved right now, because I honestly don't understand why you would get Jaden Ivey and then also keep Kobe. That would make no sense in my head whatsoever. So these need to be, I think, the next steps for the Bulls, and then I think we can kind of gauge, because right now, as of this moment in time, from the three-team deal with the Kings and the three-team deal with the Kings and the Cavs, where you got Dario Saric and 2 second-round picks out of it, okay, that was good for me. It wasn't like, oh, this was like franchise changing, or the front office deserves a lot of praise for it, because any front office with a mind would make that deal, right? But hey, the Bulls actually did something that was the proper decision, so that's a good job there. I think trading Herter for Jaden Ivey makes a lot of sense. I think that's a perfect overall decision for the Bulls in terms of how they're looking to buy low right now, get some young players in. You're gonna not have Herter anyway, honestly. Like, he's not that valuable to you anyway. And you didn't have to give up any picks in that deal. You also got rid of Saric, who you just acquired, and you got Mike Conley, which we'll see what we're gonna do with him. But good job there. I think Herter for Ivey makes a hell of a lot of sense. Good job there. And last but not least, you just traded Vucevic when I did not think this man was getting traded. So, to me, I think they actually deserve some praise for that, because I think Vucevic's overall value is pretty low right now. But you're able to trade Vucevic for Simons, and you actually have some flexibility of what exactly you're going to do here with Simons. You could go ahead and trade him right now. You could keep him, but I honestly don't really see them keeping him, but we'll see. But either way, you got some pretty good return here for Vucevic when I did not expect that at all. You were able to take advantage of Boston's situation here, where they're looking to cut some luxury tax bills off of their entire payroll, and you were able to go ahead and just trade Vucevic over there for Simons, straight up, basically. Good job. Like, that's a very job well done. Did not expect to see that at all. So I'm very pleased with that from the Bulls. I'm honestly, I think I'm most impressed by that deal, because I did not expect to see that at all. Again, let me know if there's any other trades that just kind of happened here. I am seeing, Shams did tweet, but it was just a Vucevic edit. Okay, let's go ahead and go to KC Johnson just to see if there's any sort of other let's see. Okay, I do not have any info yet of exactly about the picks yet. I'm gonna go to Will Gottlieb about the picks involved in this Simons for Vucevic deal. But as of right now, we might just have to go ahead and just kind of go off of this here for what Will Gottlieb just said. Ideally, this is one of the Bulls. Yeah, so if the Bulls traded one of their Sacramento or Cleveland picks that they just got, right? Because those weren't very valuable that they just got back in that deal. But again, I'm happy that they did the deal. And it's for exactly this sort of reason, right? Like, if you were able to go ahead and just take one of these picks that you just acquired and then get a little bit more valuable second round pick back from Boston, hey, good job, right? That's a pretty good job overall. So, and you're not trading any of your own second round picks here. So we will have to see. Again, we're not entirely sure of the exact details just yet. We might have to wait for others to get involved here. Sorry, I gotta read chat. Jalen Smith season, yes, I'm looking forward to it. If he is still here, I think Jalen Smith, there's a chance he gets traded. I saw that Minnesota didn't want Kobe because they want to go after Giannis. This Conley deal kind of hints that they are trying to go after Giannis for sure. So yeah, I think Minnesota might be out at this point. So then I'm looking at Houston at this point now. I think Kobe's market continues just to decline. So if Minnesota's out, that basically means that there's less options for the Bulls to trade him to. That lowers their leverage. That means it's gonna be less return. So I'm very concerned, honestly, about Kobe's market. But again, this is what happens when the Bulls mismanage their assets. If you're not going to manage your assets properly, you're not going to get a good return for them when you have to go ahead and actually move them. You lose your leverage. There's going to be more movement here in Chicago. I fully expect that. I think obviously we all knew that Kobe's probably going to get moved here. just based off the moves. Like, you just acquired basically 2 shooting guards and another guy that is not really a point guard anymore in Conley. So, yeah, it would make a lot of sense. Locke getting some minutes today. I'd like to see that. That'd be fun against Milwaukee. You know, we'll see exactly how this game's going to go. This could be a crazy game to look at just because Milwaukee kind of sucks. No Giannis, obviously, but the Bulls have just made a ton of moves. So we're going to be very short-handed tonight. But I'm all for it. I want to see how this game goes and just watch Yuki play, watch Ulbrich play, you know, get to see any of these other young guys. But again, please do not get injured tonight. Tonight's a very big night of just do not get injured because this is the last game before the trade deadline actually does hit. So it is crucial that you do not get injured tonight, please. I love my Conley. If they don't waive him, he could be like a Garrett Temple that 1 year for us maybe. So just to be clear about Mike Conley, I'm not saying that like you're kind of like, you know, love for Mike Conley is like you know, out of the water or anything or just crazy, but this is what he's doing. Like, Garrett Temple at least kind of provided some value. Conley has been like pretty atrocious, unfortunately. So he could just kind of stick around and just kind of be that veteran presence. He's a much better veteran presence than Vucevic, obviously. Conley's also just a great dude. I've been very much aware of how much he helps the community and everything. He's won many community service awards and everything, but yeah, my only thing though is just that he's very much washed, and I think for him and his sake, I think it would be best if he could just go to a contender. Now, is any team going to accept his $10 million and for him to average 4 points on 32% shooting from the field? No. So I personally think that we probably are just going to buy him out or just waive him, which is fine. But yeah, if he sticks around, like, all right, I'm not going to be too mad at it. But I do think that he should be one of the first people on the chopping block if a trade happens and the Bulls acquire one more player than they're sending out and they need to create a roster spot. They're going to have to go ahead and just waive Conley. I think he should be the big person just to immediately just go. And it's not just for the Bulls' sake, it's also for his sake. Like, I don't need Conley like just kind of stuck here, honestly. Conley deserves to go and try to win a ring, honestly. Guards, only the guards. Look, I understand there's a shit ton of guards right now on the roster, but like I said, I think Simons, there's a high chance he gets moved. I know you weren't here immediately, Ryan Fraley, but I think Simons has a good chance of getting moved here. I see the Bulls maybe flipping him, and so that would decrease the guards that are coming back. And again, who knows what we do with Conley here, but I just want to temper expectations about Simons because it's like, I don't exactly think we're just going to be keeping him. Like, I think there's a high chance we trade him, which is totally fine in my opinion. I won't be too upset about it. I actually don't think Simons for Vooch is a bad move, just a little late. Oh no, that's not a bad move at all. To me, that's an A+ move, honestly, because I did not think Vucevic had any sort of ability to return you this sort of value in return. Simons actually has some like kind of trade value right now, and so again, if you're able to trade Simons for like 3 second-round picks, then you basically got 3 second-round picks for Vucevic. When I did not think that was possible at all, right? So I think it's absolutely worth it. Like, this makes a lot of sense to me. I think I'm more impressed by that trade than the Jaden Ivey trade, honestly. That trade is honestly just a shocker because I'm just, in my head, Vooch had no value. And so you're able to kind of exploit Boston's luxury tax situation. They want to cut down on the luxury tax dollars, and so they went ahead and traded the more expensive contract to you, and they need some big man depth, I guess. And so then now, I mean, yeah, you could keep Simons, but he's an unrestricted free agent. I would recommend trading him right now. I don't know what team would accept him. It's a lot of money, but Simons has had a pretty solid year. So a team that needs some scoring punch, Detroit's. I know we just traded with Detroit here, but like a team that needs some scoring punch, like I think that they should be all over Simons right now. If they can't really get someone else at this moment in time. Maybe I gets moved also. I'd be sad, but his value is going to get any higher. Yeah, I think these moves definitely make me think that there's a higher chance Iowa gets moved. But we're gonna have to wait and see. Now, let me just put it this way: if let's say the Bulls trade Kobe here, they think that Jaden Ivey is their shooting guard of the future. Like they could just keep Io still, right? And they do trade Simons in this sort of scenario. Like they still might value Io as just a 6-man coming off the bench, right? there is that sort of possibility, and I think that's also okay. But if the Bulls get offered, 2 very unprotected first-round picks or 3 first-round picks for Ayo, like, see ya, right? Like, you need to trade him immediately. As much as I love Ayo, I love that man to death, but again, everyone has a price. So, I think Kobe's almost like 100% gone at this point. Ayo, I think there's a higher chance he gets traded now, but we'll see. And I think Simons probably gets flipped. I could be wrong. The one thing with Simons that I am just a little bit kind of concerned about is that the way that the Bulls might kind of change this is that they might be like, oh, well, Simons is like an upgrade over Kobe if you want to start him, for example, right? Ivey could just come off the bench for the rest of the season, and it helps kind of make a playoff push for this season alone, right? Like, that's kind of what the argument would be for if the Bulls would keep Simons. You would trade both Kobe and Ayo, and it'd be like, oh, well, we I guess maybe not upgraded with Ivey over Ayo at this current moment in time, but like the idea would be is like, oh, well, Simons would be a much better boost in our starting lineup this season to help make a playoff push, and then we'll let him go in unrestricted free agency, and then we'll just keep Ivey and elevate him to starting lineup next season. I would hate that sort of kind of mentality. I do not appreciate that. I think Ivey just needs to start once he gets to Chicago, like day one. Just throw him in the starting lineup, see what you got, right? Because the Bulls only have a set amount of games here to determine how much they should pay him this upcoming offseason. So I would be very much against that sort of idea. But I'm going to hope that the Bulls are going to be smart about this, and they actually I think they should be flipping Simons here. It would make a lot of sense if they would flip Simons at this moment in time. I could be wrong, but that's kind of my read at this current moment. We will see tons of Yuki and Ulbrich. Yeah, I'm excited for it, man. I'm all for that sort of stuff. So I think Ulbrich getting some time doesn't hurt, right? I think we kind of have to see what he has. Unfortunately, from what I've seen so far in the NBA, it's been pretty rough for him. So, but he's done well in the G League. But a big trade be coming with Kobe and Ayo involved? Oh, it's certainly possible. It certainly is possible. My only thing, though, is like, my only concern about making that sort of deal is just like, does Kobe maybe kind of tank Ayo's value if you're getting them in a combination package, right? Like, if you trade both of them to the same team, like, does that kind of lower Ayo's value? Because Ayo right now has much higher value. More healthy this season on a smaller contract. You could actually have a chance to extend him, right? Versus Kobe, there's like basically no chance. So that's my only thing. It's just like, I don't want to like maybe tank Ayo's value in that sort of deal. But if you actually get like a really good deal involving both of them, right? Then absolutely, I think it's a possibility for sure. We get a trade during the game tonight. I always love those. It's always a very interesting situation. It's very awkward, but it has obviously happened. I always remember Harrison Barnes getting traded in the middle of his game when he was with the Dallas Mavericks. I also would not be surprised if Simons is moved. Yeah, that's my thinking right now. I think Simons does get moved. I could be wrong. The Bulls, again, have always been saying that they're trying to be competitive, and so if they think Simons is a big upgrade for this season, then they might just keep him. But, again, like, in my head at least, right, let's just say, for example, the Bulls didn't trade for Jaden Ivey, right, then I'm thinking that the Bulls are going to be keeping Simons for sure. But because the Bulls traded for Jaden Ivey, in my head at least, my calculus is just that, okay, well, you're going to be looking to trade Simons right now. You're able to go ahead and trade Vucevic for Simons. Like, oh, you should 100% be happy about that deal in the first place. But if I could go ahead and flip Simons now because he's on an expiring contract, and I don't really, again, like, are you be paying both Ivey and Simons this upcoming offseason? I seriously doubt it. Therefore, I would look to trade him now. That would be my calculus for how I would look at this current situation. And so I'm off. I'd be totally fine with that. That's a good overall decision in my opinion. We're gonna be on Hug Watch during this game, aren't we? Oh, I think for sure. I think there's a high chance Kobe does get traded tonight. Yeah, I just got off work, so that's why I was late. Hey, don't worry, I'm not blaming you for being late. I'm just trying to get you up to speed and everything. I just wanted to just be clear because you weren't the only person that came in or has like tweeted at me about like, oh my god, there's so many guards on this roster, like holy shit. Like, don't worry, you're not the only person that's like been talking about that. My only thing though is I just kind of started the stream with is just like, I think Simons actually has a high chance of getting flipped here, so that would decrease the amount of guards we have in our roster, which would help out. Seems the Bulls are doing things right. My confidence in them is partially restored. It's also where I'm kind of heading towards right now. Now, again, the only thing that has not happened just yet is that the Bulls have not really accumulated that many picks. I do think that's still important, okay? However, again, if I could trade Huerter for Ivey, absolutely. If I could trade Vucevic for Simons, absolutely, right? Those are good overall decisions by the Chicago Bulls, right? They weren't asking, like, they weren't asking Detroit to throw in, like, an extra pick their way for Huerter when they understood that Huerter's value is bad. He's shooting bad this season, right? He's on an expiring contract, but the Pistons need a little bit more win now help. And so they were able to kind of leverage that and turn it into Jaden Ivey, who the Pistons weren't going to pay, right? So to me, that makes sense. So I'm not saying that I expected, picks to come back in this deal. I didn't. But I do hope, though, that when the Bulls trade Kobe, that you are going to be taking some picks back. Whether it's second round or first round, I don't care. But I do hope that the Bulls go ahead and get some picks back in the Kobe trade. Whatever they can get. If they can't get first round picks and they have to accept 2 seconds, okay, that's fine with me. But what I don't want to have happen is what you do with like how they kind of did with like the whole Caruso and like I guess the Lonzo Ball trades worked out in their favor. But like, I don't want to do the whole 1-for-1 swaps. Like, if you could get more picks out of the deal, plus the players you're getting, you need to get that, in my opinion. I'm looking forward to seeing how that's going to work out. I think the Bulls will still re-sign him regardless of his play out there. This is a pre-agency move, if anything. Are you talking about Ivey or Simons? If it's talking about Ivey, 100% I agree with you. Like, this gives the Bulls a lot of leverage now about, like, okay, we don't have to, like, overpay for him this upcoming offseason, right? So I like this move a lot. I'm only saying, though, it's just we have to be careful, right? Because, like, you shouldn't just automatically think, oh, we're just going to pay Jaden Ivey $100 million this upcoming offseason just, like, right off the bat. That'd be bad business, right? He has not played well this season. There's no guarantee he will ever get back to form, right? So you have to use that leverage right now to try to get him on a better contract. Because, and I understand that if you're thinking like, oh wow, Duncan's being cheap just like the Bulls. I'm not. This is just logical decision making where it's like a player has not played that well this season, right? Therefore, you should not be paying him that much right now. So that's my only thing. I agree with Ivey. Now, when it comes to Simons, though, I have a hard time trying to figure out how the Bulls would keep him. That's my only thing. Because again, you're already gonna be paying Ivey, so then like, why would you also pay Simons? They play the same position, they're kind of similar, right? But Ivey's younger. I project him to have probably a more team friendly deal, or just maybe like a longer term deal, versus Simons, who's not gonna get paid $27 million maybe, but he can go anywhere he wants to, which gives him the leverage. So I would be very shocked to see if we pay both of them. I'd be very shocked at that. Trey Jones, odd man out? I don't think so as of yet. Again, if we trade Simons and we trade Kobe, right, that means that Josh Giddey and Ivey would be starting. Io and Trey Jones come off the bench. To me, that makes logical sense to me. I think both Io and Trey Jones are probably also better off the bench right now. So, I mean, Io's been great. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I have kind of considered him in the starting lineup, but for now, though, at least, like, that seems to kind of be what we're looking at. Which is fine. But okay, I will say this: if Simons is kept, plus we keep Ivey and we only trade Kobe and we don't trade Io, like that, I would be interested to see what happens with Trey Jones. He could be traded. Sorry, I'm gonna look awkward tonight. I'm all for it. I'm totally cool with it. If Jalen Smith is available, awesome. Like, just play him starter minutes. He deserves it. He's been great this year. Or I guess not great, but he's been good this year, I should say. Does Simons trade affect our financial flexibility? So, just to be clear about what we're looking at with financial flexibility here, the Bulls have not added any long-term money to their books with all the trades that have happened. Okay, they've traded expirings basically for expirings. They traded Huerter and Sarge, who are both expiring, for Simons and Conley, who are both expiring. or sorry, Ivey and Conley, who are both expiring. Sorry. Ivey, though, is a restricted free agent. So that does kind of bind up a little bit of the financial flexibility for the Bulls, okay? Vooch was expiring, and you traded for Simons, who's expiring, okay? So nothing happened there. Now, the cap holds on both Simons and Ivey are significantly higher than what Herter and Vucevic were kind of looking to get here. My only thing, though, is that I'm not expecting Simons to still be here. I could be wrong, but I expect Simons to get flipped so that his cap hold won't matter. Ivey's cap hold is high, but if the Bulls can just go ahead and agree to a contract with Ivey, let's just say it's $20 million a year for Jaden Ivey, right? Then this number, instead of $30 million cap hold, it goes down to 20, and that would open up $10 million more cap space for where the Bulls would be at for the offseason. Now, this is including an Ayo Dosunmu extension worth $15 million, by the way. His cap hold is also $15 million. So this is with the idea of keeping Ayo, okay? You would still keep Ayo, and you would obviously re-sign Jaden Ivey. You would try to get it below $30 million, which I would hope that would be possible with the season he's had. Again, you're not keeping Simons, you're not keeping Collins. Those guys are gone if you still had Simons on the roster for whatever reason. In this sort of situation, Kobe's off the books completely. So I took away his cap hold. Again, Conley, I don't expect him to stick around, and Dalen Terry would also be gone. Okay. And so my projected cap space then would be if let's say Ivey signed for $20 million, then this would be about $38 million the Bulls would have to play with then. And again, this is with re-signing Ayo Dosunmu, around $15 million a year. Okay. So I think the Bulls right now, with their financial flexibility, they're still good. The cap holds are a little bit scary, but if they decide to just move on from some guys and obviously pay Ivey less than his cap hold, you're still in a good spot with your financial flexibility. And so then if you want to go ahead and get Peyton Watson, who I've been saying has kind of been my guy, right, for the offseason, and try to steal him away for Denver, and you pay him $30 million a year, then again, like, if you're able to get Ivey to about $20 million a year, you would have $38 million to go and send at Peyton Watson and try to steal him from Denver. Like, to me, that makes a lot of sense. So the Bulls right now have good financial flexibility at this current moment in time. That could change, but for now, at this moment in time, with how I look at it, we're looking pretty solid, which I'm very happy about right now. Hopefully that answers your question, Razi. Picks for sure. Yeah, I would hope we get picks back soon here. Bulls are tanking? I don't think they are, honestly. I think the Bulls are still they're still trying to be competitive right now. I think the time to tank has already passed, by the way. I think if the Bulls were truly tanking, then, like, I think we would have seen other guys go. I think Ayo would have been gone, like, at this point. But if they decide, though, to actually, like, continue doing, like, similar trades like this, I'm good with this. This is good. I would still want some picks in some sort of fashion that would help kind of round out the deadline. But for now, though, I'm okay with this. Like, I think the Bulls are still going to be competitive, or try to be competitive, even with these deals. Did they maybe get a little bit worse today? Yeah, especially with Vucevic no longer on the roster. Like, yeah, I think that, assuming that you flip Simons here for like nothing, like too much value in return, they definitely got worse today. So yeah, I don't think that maybe winning is going to be as high of a priority, but I don't think they're flat out tanking. If they are, though, I'd be totally good with it. I'd be very happy, but I don't think that's the plan as of this moment in time. Simons fits so well with Josh Giddey, especially off ball. See, I disagree with that sort of analysis, just because Simons is not a good defender. I think that when it comes to Josh Giddey, now granted, Jaden Ivey is also not a good defender either. But I do think Jaden Ivey can offer a little bit more kind of punch with his offensive game, assuming he gets back to form. Simons is definitely someone that you might maybe rely as the better shooter. However, though, obviously his defense is also lackluster. So they definitely both kind of have some concerns. However, if I had to kind of trust somebody, I would put a little bit more trust in Ivey to try to kind of figure things out and offer a little bit more kind of scoring punch compared to where Simons may be at this moment in time. I could be wrong about that, but it is definitely a risk. But Ivey's younger, and I also expect him to be a little bit cheaper. Maybe. We'll see. We're with pieces finally? Yes, we are. I'm very happy about it. Top 8 pick this year is all I want. Oh, trust me, man. If we get a top 8 pick, I'll be thrilled. Will it happen? I don't know, but I really hope that we would get a top 8 pick. I'll be thrilled with that situation. But I think the Bulls are still gonna try. Like, I think the Bulls are still trying to actually like still be competitive even with these current moves right now. I could be wrong, but we'll see. Is trading your trash for mine leverage? Well, again, Boston had a kind of an issue right now where, like, yeah, we're not really sending much over to them. Now, they did kind of need some big man support a little bit, but the Bulls were able to leverage Boston's luxury tax situation to make this deal. This saves Boston money, right? That's the reason why they were a little bit more kind of interested in doing something like this. So it may be trash in this sort of instance, and I don't think Simons is trash, but I do think that in terms of like kind of value overall, it's a little bit more even. But again, I'm shocked. I thought you couldn't trade Vooch for anything, honestly. So you did a really good job. Gary's finally getting a smart build, a sucky team, and still get your money. Honestly, that honestly won't be too bad if they were able to figure that out. I just don't know how they would do that. About Ivey, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I think the Bulls are 100% looking to keep Ivey, 100%. I just always am just keeping bringing it up though. It's just that it is a restricted free agency. The Bulls have to decide how much they want to pay him, right? I don't expect Ivey to get a big contract, but this is definitely a little bit of a different offseason compared to Josh Giddey's, where Giddey had no leverage and the Bulls still caved and gave him $25 million. Now, obviously, a lot of people right now with the Giddey contract are like, oh no, I mean, like it's totally fine. To me, the Bulls could have done better in that situation. That's not me trying to be like, oh, we could have got Giddey, or like we could have like screwed over Giddey or fleeced Giddey or anything. No, I'm just saying the Bulls could have done better in that situation. This offseason, though, is different. There's a lot of money this offseason compared to the Giddey situation. There was no money last offseason for Giddey to try to leverage in his situation. So that's the reason why I think this is a little bit different. And so the Bulls had to kind of make a decision. So, in my opinion, I don't think Ivey should be getting paid that much. If it is $20 million, like I can maybe accept it, but anything past that, I think is, unless Ivey comes in and just like flourishes in like the last 2 months of the season, here. But I'm gonna look at this as like we gotta do our due diligence of like, okay, like we're not just gonna pay you $100 million right off the bat just because we just traded for you, right? We need to make our proper decision. You did not have a good year overall. You're still kind of coming back from injury, and like you might never return to form, right? And so that is just being smart with your money. And if you go ahead and understand that and be like, okay, we're not going to pay you, $25 million annual average salary, so we can lower this number. And if you end up returning to form, that's awesome for us, right? But that's not a guarantee. However, it's a risk the Bulls should be taking right now of trading Herter for Ivey. That's a good overall decision. So that's the reason why I'm a little bit just like, we have to be careful with how much money we give Ivey, but I think the Bulls should do this right. In terms of just not paying him automatically $100 million 4-year contract, like the Giddey contract, for example. Who gets boost now that Vucevic is gone from the Bulls? Definitely Smith. Ulbrich might see some minutes, assuming Collins is never going to play over again. But I mean, like, we're definitely gonna see Patrick Williams at the 5. So if he's gonna turn into a undersized center in his career, now's his chance. I hate it, but if there's any sort of chance he has to actually kind of stay in the league past this contract he's currently on, then we'll see. But I think Smith definitely gets the biggest boost. And Smith's done very well this season. I'm very happy with his play. Ivey ain't getting paid that much. We'll see. Yeah. How old is Simons? Simons is 26. So that's the reason why I think that he's getting flipped, personally. Besides the P-Will and Vooch contracts, I kind of like how AK's contracts he's given out, so I kind of trust him with the Ivey situation. I hope so, right? For the most part, it seems pretty good. Obviously, Trey Jones has done well. The Kobe White and Ayo Dosunmu deals were good. The Bulls just didn't capitalize on when they could trade them for like insanely good value. So instead, they waited to the last second to potentially trade these guys, and hence why you're not getting much value in return for them if you do trade them. The Vucevic contract, though, was not good, obviously, like you said. And obviously Patrick Williams was pretty terrible. Javon Carter was not good. I was wrong about that. I wanted Javon Carter, and obviously that didn't turn out to anything. But the Jalen Smith contract was pretty solid. That was good by the Bulls. The Giddey contract is just basically par. If you look at Steph No's recent like kind of salary like value model, it's basically par. Like it's basically like you're basically paying what you expected to get from Giddey so far this season. Like it's not like people want to try to argue that it's like a team friendly deal. It's really not. It's just par. So you know, I think that's okay for the Bulls. But yeah, they have to still, like, I'm still a little bit concerned here because, like, if let's say the Bulls don't trade Kobe, which would be a hell of a big shocker to me, like, then they might overpay him. So there's still some things we gotta wait for before I'll be like, okay, yeah, we're in a good spot here. But I do agree, like, the Williams contract and obviously the Vucevic contract are like the big L's, but they're pretty massive L's, I won't lie. So we gotta make sure that we don't do something like that again at this point. How's his defense? It's not really the best. I will say though, I probably am underrating Simons' defense just a little bit because like he has had some like okay defensive moments with Boston. Now it is Boston's system, so I don't really know how exactly that would look, but I might be underrating it a little bit at this point. Kind of like Anfernee on the team, low key fits well. 26 like Kobe, fits well with Giddey, but I understand him being a decent trade piece for sure. My only reason why I think he's a big trade piece is just because he's an unrestricted free agent. Like, why would you trade for both Simons and Ivey looking to pay both of them? Like, they're the same position, right? That's the reason why I think he's the trade candidate. Now, Ivey might be the trade candidate, maybe. I would doubt that though. But again, in my logical sense, it's like, why are you trading for Ivey and then you also trade for Simons looking to pay both of them? Like, I don't understand that to me. So in my opinion, it should be you're gonna be trading Simons. That's my logic, at least in terms of why the Bulls should be looking to trade for him or trade Simons right now. I understand like some people are thinking about the fit. It's like, oh, like I mean, like yeah, he's a good 3-point shooter, can kind of be off ball and just jack up threes. But again, he's 26, so I like Ivey's age a little bit more. I also think Simons is just going to be a little more expensive because of his unrestricted free agency status here. So, I think it's better just to keep Ivey. Is there a possibility to get Giannis tonight? No. Sorry, no. The teams, if there's actually teams that are actually trying to get Giannis, like they have a significantly better package right now than the Bulls can offer. So no, sorry. I do fully apologize to ruin your overall your hope. Is Yuki playing center? Hey man, he had some rebounds in the last game. Tonight will be fun bad. Oh, for sure. I'm all for it though. Like fun bad games are gonna be awesome. Like we get to watch Yuki play a lot of minutes. We get to watch obviously I'm assuming Dalen Terry's not getting traded, but who knows? But like DT gets some minutes, Julian Phillips gets some minutes. I think Julian Phillips actually just got added to the injury report, so he might actually be traded here. Unfortunately, we do not get to see Jaden Ivey, right? Or we don't get to see Anfernee Simons, right? But I would love to see them. I mean, we'll see about, again, maybe Io gets traded, but like the biggest thing very clearly is that Matas Buzelis should be getting a ton of reps tonight. And if he has 10 turnovers, but still like, is like working through his mistakes and everything and still ends up being productive, hey man, I don't care about the 10 turnovers. This is good. Get Matas Buzelis as many reps as possible on ball tonight. That would be a very good decision for the Bulls. We're definitely gonna trade for a center, right? Backup or starting? I don't know, honestly. If they just keep Jalen Smith as your starting and like they'll kind of figure out the backup center later, like I'm all for it. Like I don't think trading for a backup center is that vital right now, honestly. At least in my opinion, again, I don't think this team should be prioritizing wins, which obviously you would need a backup center. But for now, though, like it shouldn't be as high of a priority at this moment in time. As a Celtics fan who doesn't watch a lot of Bulls, how do you feel about Vucevic? Okay, hi. I'm looking at your name. Is it Tormentor Ox1? I don't know if you're still here, but welcome in. So as you are a Celtics fan, so congratulations on getting Nikola Vucevic. I'll just start off by saying that. When it comes to Vucevic, here's your scouting report. Defensively, he gives you basically nothing. which I understand you're already probably freaking out about that immediately. And this is the reason why, unfortunately, I thought he didn't have much value. He really doesn't give you much. He doesn't contest shots. If, like, let's say a starting center shoots threes, he doesn't really contest them well. And then in terms of his rim protection, he also doesn't really try to protect the rim that often. That is, like, the biggest red flag when it comes to him. Defensive rebounding, he's a, like, pretty, like, decent defensive rebounder. However, I do think that there are many better centers that rebound better than him. He will get his rebounds if he's, you know, like, on the floor with a small team, like a small team around him, like small guards. Like, you guys typically kind of play like a smaller lineup anyway. He'll get his rebounds, but I do think that there are better centers rebounding in terms of just their ability to rebound compared to him. What Vooch brings, though, is obviously offensive end. He's a pretty solid passer, all things considered, for his center. He does have pretty decent vision with his passing ability. When it comes to pick and roll, like, he's a pretty okay option if he's setting a screen or rolling or pick and popping. He can shoot the three-point shot off the pick and pop. He can shoot the three basically from anywhere. And then, obviously, you know, pick and roll, he can, you know, most bigs should be able to do that. Most of the time, though, when it comes to pick and rolls, he doesn't get to the basket all the way. He ends up shooting a little floater shot. Like, if you know the Isaiah Hartenstein kind of floater shot, it's very similar. However, it is not as efficient as Isaiah Hartenstein. Hartenstein's is significantly more efficient. Vooch's little floater shot's okay, but it could definitely have more efficiency to the shot. If you're looking in terms of post-up ability, Vucevic is not a good post-up option. He is one of the worst post-up players in the league. Now, Boston doesn't typically run any post-up options unless it's, like, honestly, for, like, Jaylen Brown anyway. And obviously when Tatum is there, then maybe he's a post-up option. But, like, Vucevic is one of the worst post-up options in the league. And if there are Bulls fans that are questioning about this, about my analysis on Vucevic, like, because if you're a Stacey King fan and do you love when Stacey King says free cheese, post up Vucevic, well, I hate to break it to you, but Nikola Vucevic is by far one of the worst post up players in the league in terms of this season, unfortunately. Where is he now? Oh, is it because he just got traded? He's not going to actually show up now? Oh my god. Oh, he's here. Okay, no, he is here. Actually, this number's a little bit higher than I was actually expecting. Last time I checked it was like in like 0.7 area. But he is in a 29th percentile in terms of post-up. It's not good. 0.87 points per possession per post-up is pretty awful. So, I mean, just in terms of reference, like Nikola Jokic averages this. Like, I mean, when Embiid's healthy, he's here. Giannis is obviously just better. There's just better post-up options, but he gets a significant amount. As you can see, he posts up, you know, more than Luka Doncic, but Doncic is just better in the post. So don't expect any good sort of post-up ability from Vucevic, honestly. But you guys don't really run that anyway. So he'll fit your 5-out offense for sure. Defensively, though, I am definitely seeing concerns. Your perimeter guys have to really kind of make up for his defensive liabilities, which I guess if there's any team that can do it, it is Boston. You guys have, like, you know, your perimeter defense that's pretty solid. So, good luck with him. I honestly, you know, I think the biggest thing with Vucevic is that he doesn't get injured. He is kind of like a walking double-double if he gets his minutes, but it's not always like the most efficient double-double. Like, there's definitely some bad double-doubles in there. But he will give you some interior help, though. So good luck, honestly, with Vucevic. I don't know if you're... Sorry, I'm trying to, like, read all the chat messages here. I might have to skip some. I'm so sorry. But if you are chatting right now, I do apologize. It doesn't look like you are, though. But good luck to Vooch. Good luck to Boston with him. Obviously, the big reason why Boston did this, though, was because luxury tax purposes. So that's the reason why they did it. And obviously, they did need some interior help. I'm just shocked they gave up Simons for him, honestly. I thought Simons could be traded for something different. Vucevic was traded today, yes. Yeah. No, Giannis, I'm scared we get Cat. I don't think Cat's coming here, personally. I could be wrong, but I don't think Cat's coming. It's not bad at all. Oh, yeah, I completely agree. We'll have to in Boston. Anfernee was forced to play defense, too. Yeah. So, like, Boston obviously has a big system that, like, you have to play defense. Now, obviously, guys like Derek White are insanely good defenders and can kind of make up for some defensive liabilities for some players, but... like, yeah, I mean, Boston's all hell-bent on, like, you have to play defense. Like, you don't have any sort of excuse, honestly, in Boston. Now, the one thing that will help Vucevic in Boston, at least in my opinion, now Vuce did play well, kind of within the faster offense, mostly last season though. Boston is a very slow team. Like, they're like bottom in pace, right? That's going to help Vuce. So Vuce is not going to be running up and down the court constantly because he is pretty slow up and down the court. The slower pace will help Vucevic. That's going to help him a lot. He's not going to be, you're not going to be seeing him like, oh wow, like he didn't get back on defense all the time or whatever, because like Boston does a good job of slowing down the pace. So that's going to help Boston, or help Vucevic overall with his fit. So yeah. I wonder if another trade's going to happen. Oh, I think there should be more. Shams has basically said there's going to be more on the way. So I'm looking forward to it. I wonder if they're going to try to use the players they try to get Giannis. I hope not. I don't think Giannis is coming. If Giannis somehow actually finds his way to the Bulls, I'll be utterly shocked. But I'm definitely, I really don't think Giannis is coming at this point in time. Lou Canales knows Giannis' agent and said AK doesn't want him at all. Lou says there's 0% Giannis is coming, which I did see that. But even forgetting that, just wipe that information away from your memory. Like, why would Giannis come here? Like, just being dead serious. Like, why would Giannis come here? Giannis wants to go to a contending level team. The Bulls aren't that, and they've just made trades that make them even less of a contender. So I really don't see that, honestly. Simon's defense has improved. Do you watch? I mean, I understand that Simon's defense has improved, but like he's been notoriously known as like not being that good of a defender overall. So I'm not gonna be here and saying that Simons is gonna suddenly become like this great defender all of a sudden. So that's my thing. Vuce doesn't play D in years. He doesn't care about your team. Vucevic has not played defense on the Bulls specifically. Now, again, if he's trying to win a ring, obviously, I would hope that he's going to give a lot better effort. But, again, I don't know. Like, Vuce has just been very bad with his defensive effort. I mean, go and watch this last game against Miami. Bam Adebayo cooked Vucevic, and it's just because Vuce did not give a hand up on any sort of contest when Bam was, like, shooting three-point shots. That was the issue. It's just, like, Vuce doesn't really try. And so again, I hope that he's gonna try with Boston. Like, he should be trying. Like, I'd be shocked if he didn't. But he might just end up going back to his old ways of just not really trying, unfortunately. So good luck. Can you see Misi or Gafford getting traded for? I think Misi is a possibility right now. I just don't exactly know what we would be giving up to the Pelicans. Like, my concern is like we take on DeJounte Murray and his contract for Misi. Like, I've been kind of looking at that. The Simons contract kind of matches up with DeJounte Murray, by the way. Like, if you're wondering kind of where I'm looking at with the DeJounte Murray like idea, like the way that I'm looking at it, I don't love this idea because I don't think Misi's worth this. Now if the Pelicans give us like, you know, a first round pick involved, then that's a different story. But basically the way that what I was looking at is like, basically, it would be this. So, like, this would be its own... Oh, actually, this doesn't work, huh? The Bulls would have to get under. Ooh, okay. Actually, with the Bulls' current situation now, it's a little bit different, huh? They'd have to make a move before this deal would actually work out. But, like, they'd have to send out some money, so, like, get rid of Conley, for example. And then, they would get, like, basically Misi, and then, like, the Bulls would send out something else. Actually, it is saying that Simons can be aggregated. I don't think that is true, honestly. I could be wrong, but like it would kind of be like something like this, basically, and the Bulls would like send. Why is Sarge still here? This is incorrect. I'll have to get updated about the aggregation rule for Simons, because like I guess it technically was a 1-for-1, so like I guess maybe he could just be technically just aggregated, but I don't think that's the case. I think he can't be aggregated right now. But anyway, and so like the Bulls would send out like DT or something like this. Like this would kind of be the deal that I'm like concerned about. Like, why would the Pelicans do this? It gets off Murray's contract, who has another year of his contract for next season. The Bulls would then want to do this deal just to get Misi, right? And so you're giving Simons in this deal, so this would help the Pelicans get some financial flexibility for next season, because you're taking Murray's $30 million for next season away from them, and Terry's also not expiring, so it would help the Pelicans save some money. which is why they would do this. And if Queen is basically their center of the future, then they might not really value Misty that hard, and so the Bulls might value him. The Bulls have been trying to get Misty for a while now, it seems like. I'm not, like, thrilled about it, but if the Bulls can find a way to trade, like, you know, if it's, like, Dalen Terry in 2 seconds, like, yeah, I'll do that deal. But if it's, you know, something like this, I don't really love it, because I don't want Murray's money, because that would basically ruin all of the Bulls' financial flexibility for this upcoming offseason. I do not want to take on DeJounte Murray's money. So that's my biggest concern, honestly, when it comes to the Bulls trying to get Misty, because I feel like the Pelicans want to actually try to get something pretty decent out of the deal, right? And the only thing the Bulls can really offer them is, like, salary cap relief. Because I'm not trading a first for Misty. That is just a stupid decision. I'm not trading Kobe for Misty either. I think the Bulls are just it'd just be in better interest for them to trade Kobe for something else and get some second round picks in return. And then also maybe try to get Misty later and not give up too much for him. Obviously, I'm not trading Io for Misty. That would, again, the Bulls can get more for Io than that. So I'm a little bit concerned with how they're going to roll with it. Oh, where the Victor? I'm sorry. I know I'm late to all these messages, so I don't exactly know what you're referring to. Yeah, I think we discussed that though already. Sorry, I know I'm a little bit behind on this. I'm trying to read everybody. Don't really want me to say I don't blame you. Was Lewis lying his ass off, try to sway the front office? He could be, yeah. What's going on, DJ Hill? Are Ivey and Simons replacing Kobe and Io? That is a possibility. We have talked about that. In my opinion, though, I think Simons is getting traded. So I think Kobe's getting traded because you just got Ivey, right? Like the Bulls are playing to keep Jaden Ivey and pay him this upcoming offseason. He's younger. He's going to be a restricted free agent, so he'll be cheaper. But I think that means you're trading Kobe and you're trading Simons, because I don't think you trade for Jaden Ivey and then also trade for Anfernee Simons and keep him. Like, why would they do that? So I think personally, you're replacing Kobe with Ivey most likely, and then you did the Vucevic deal to get Vuce off your books. And now you have Simons, who then you're going to try to trade for and try to trade him away for something decent, right? Like, for example, if you're able to trade Anfernee Simons for like 3 second-round picks or something like that, like, hey, that means you traded Nikola Vucevic for 3 second-round picks. Like, we didn't think that was possible, right? But Simons to me is a little bit more of an enticing trade candidate than Vuce is, and so I think it's totally worth it. Not running at the 5. I know. I don't love the idea. I'm just pointing it out. I'm keeping an eye on an offer I can't refuse that involves a pick. Right. So again, like if it's like 2 unprotected, solid first round picks, or if it's like 3, you know, some protections on first round picks, like everyone has a price, right? If it's 1 first round pick though, I think honestly for me, especially because I don't think the Bulls are going to be actually rebuilding here. Like even with the Jaden Ivey move, for example, it's not really rebuilding. You're just getting some young players and kind of taking a swing on them. Like I know I understand they'll be like, oh, that's rebuilding, Duncan. It's like, no, I think rebuilding would have been like you are really trying to get some draft picks here. We'll see if the Bulls actually decide to do that. But if the Bulls are still going to actually just try to be good, right, try to be competitive, then I think Io might actually be too good to trade. Again, everyone has a price, right? If I'm getting 2 like really solid first round picks for Io DeSumo, I am trading that man. I love Io, but again, everyone has a price. That's what I thought was out. They pulled me back in. I'm not fully bought back in, to be clear. Like I like what the Bulls have done today, but I don't want to just be like, oh, I'm like right back in. I'm like on the AK train again. No, the Bulls still have some work to do. Okay, like if the Bulls don't trade Kobe, then like all right, like no one should be back on the AK train, because like what the hell are we doing, right? The Bulls still have a lot of decisions they have to make and could still mess up, that I'm still looking at here as like, no, they could definitely mess this up here. And I'm basically back on like, no, this front office still sucks. Because again, like the Dario Saric trade, any front office with a mind does that, where you get 2 second round picks for a salary dump, right? This is like the Ivey for Herter trade. Like I was shocked that it was even offered. Now, I'll give the front office credit that they were able to do this, but like again, I think any front office is able to, like with a mind, should be accepting that deal. Simons for Vucevic, though, I give the front office a lot of credit for. That's a very impressive like trade that I think that they've done, because I don't value Vucevic at all. Now, maybe my analysis or valuation of Vucevic is bad, but to me is like the one I get the most credit for. But again, though, I don't think that deal's done. If you mess up this Simons deal and like you're ready to go and pay Anfernee Simons as like your starting shooting guard, but also somehow pay Jaden Ivey this upcoming offseason, I'm questioning what the hell you're doing. So I don't think you should be fully bought back in just yet. They have a lot of moves to work with here that they still have to do, get it done right, and they could also, because of that, they could also still mess up here. So we got to be careful before we start thinking, oh, it's like, oh, we're back on track, guys. I don't think so. Not yet. It's good overall decisions, but we can't be fully bought back in, at least in my opinion. We have to wait. Kobe needs to be traded here before I really start to think like, oh, the Bulls are doing like a good job overall at the deadline, just as of right now. Right now it's fine, but this Kobe trade I think needs to happen, and we need to also not get completely screwed over from it. Again, we need to get some draft capital, second round picks, first round picks. I don't really care, but we need to get something in return. So Unstoppable, it seems like the Wolves are out on Kobe at this point, because they just did the Mike Conley deal, which was a salary dump. It seems like that the Wolves are trying to make a run at Giannis. So I don't think the Wolves are going to be looking to trade for Kobe. I think the most likely team to trade for Kobe right now is Houston. It'd be Dorian Finney-Smith, Aaron Holiday for Kobe White, basically. And then any draft capital. So look for that, honestly. To Boston, 2027 Denver Nuggets pick. Okay, good. All right, that's actually good. So that was that was the pick that we got back in the Cavaliers deal. And so that wasn't really looking to be very, like, that was going to be, assuming Denver's good, right? Like, that's not going to be that valuable. So we were able to trade one of those picks, and we'll see what we get back in return. It's right here, actually. Thank you, Razi. King of the fourth quarter just tweeted, wow, we just traded for the 31st and 35th in this year's draft, bro. Wait, Chicago, most favorable 2026 second round pick of Minnesota, New Orleans, New York. Oh, we got the most favorable? Oh, okay. That's actually really good. Wait, wow. Okay, that's good. I think that makes this trade with Vucevic even better, honestly. The Bulls were already able to pull in a more valuable second round pick than they just sent out. That's really solid. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah, you're still here. Are the Bulls tanking at this point in time? I don't think they're tanking personally. I really don't. I apologize to everyone that wants to believe that this is a tank. I don't think it's a tank. I want it to be a tank, because I think if you could try to get a top 8 pick this upcoming draft would be great. But I personally don't think that's what's happening right now. Normal, it's a simple game every time Vucevic hits a hook shot. Yeah, no more simple game stuff like from Stacey King that says that, oh, wow, what a great post-up for Vucevic when it was a pick and roll and the guard threw it to him and Vucevic shot a hook shot. Like, that's not a post-up. I love the trade deadline. It's awesome, man. The trade deadline is always really good. Bro, Luka Doncic got traded last season, man. Like, when that happened, bro, I was in this very seat. I was playing Valorant with my guys, and we just finished a game. And I look at my phone, and I'm like, what? The biggest trade ever of all time just happened. The NBA trade deadline's awesome. It is always a great time. And for once, finally, the Bulls are actually making some decent decisions, right? For the first time in forever, it feels like the Bulls are actually doing something right. It's not like the Bulls are like doing anything spectacular as of yet, or like we're on the right track in my opinion, but we're actually making some like logical decisions here, which I'm like, finally, like we're actually making some movement. We're actually like, we got rid of Vucevic, thank God. I think Jaden Ivey's definitely exciting to kind of see how he's going to play. I am concerned about his like overall like ability to kind of get back to form, but we'll see. Again, I'm excited to see how he's going to play here. But again, it's logical decisions. Like, I absolutely would trade Herter for Ivey. It makes 100% sense. Get Claxton, please. I'm personally not on board with that right now. I don't really want Claxton. Again, I don't want the Bulls to be buying right now. None of these moves, in my opinion, are buys, right? I think the Bulls are all kind of, like, they're kind of selling right now. or they use their expirings to try to go and take a swing at somebody, right? Because like in theory or in reality, the Pistons did buy in this deal. They traded Ivey, who they're aware has some potential, and he's younger, but just hasn't had that good of a season. But they went ahead and just used him to go ahead and get Herter, who they hope is going to help him, right? So they are still selling right now. So I don't think the Bulls would be buying Claxton at this moment in time. And I could be wrong, but it looks like the Bulls are actually selling for once, which is good. Keep Conley. I personally am against it, but I can maybe be convinced later. Another guard for the Bulls. It is another guard, but again, I think Simons is getting traded. I think Simons is getting traded, so that would lower the amount of guards we have, right? I also think Kobe's getting traded, so that also takes away another guard, right? So in theory, what's going to happen at the end of the deadline, the Bulls guard situation will be Giddey, Ivey in the starting lineup, okay, and it'll be Trey Jones and Ayo Dosunmu off the bench, okay. That's not too bad, right? So that's what I think is going to happen. I think that's what we're going to be looking at. I could be wrong. If Simons and Ivey are here past the deadline, I'm going to be pretty confused. But maybe there's something else that I'm just not seeing, or maybe they're going to use Anfernee Simons as like a sign and trade option in the offseason or something. But I would be very confused if that's what ends up happening. Keep Anfernee Simons, keep Ayo Dosunmu. I'm personally against keeping Anfernee Simons, Steven, but again, I'll have to be convinced in some other fashion right now about keeping Simons at this point. Misi drafting Chinyelu, first round trade up or a second. I don't know about that, but again, I don't really want to be buying right now. Again, like I think again, getting Misi's a buy. I just don't want to really do that right now. Celtics fans saying they extend Vucevic already. Well, yeah, I think it's pretty. I think Celtics fans are going to be in for a rude awakening, unfortunately, when it comes to Vucevic. But I also am very much aware the Celtics have been asking for big man help, and so their fans are just like, wow, like a center that's averaging like 17 and 10, like awesome. Like we're gonna actually get some big man production, which they just haven't had really all season long. Now I think Keita's been good. Luka Garza has also kind of had like an alright season, but again, I'm very much aware the production level's like not as high. You know, the Celtics are definitely missing Cornet, and you know they moved on from Horford, and Porzingis is gone, right? So like I'm very much aware, like oh wow, like they're in need of big man help, but yeah, Vooch is 35, man. Like I don't, he's just getting older as the day goes on. So yeah, Herter was asked this season for sure. I think Herter, like, I know that some people like were defending Herter because like there was some like decent moments with Herter of like making his like 2-point shots, but for a guy that I look at as him is supposed to like his main attribute to helping a team is his 3-point shooting, and he's shooting like 31% this season. Like Herter was pretty rough to watch, and then more in like the last month or so, his defense kind of fell. His defense started out pretty good to start the season, but his defense recently has been pretty awful, unfortunately. Yeah. I call him Popovich for a reason. Or Pupovich, oh, I see. Oh, you play Valorant? Hey, what's wrong with me playing Valorant? Jesus, man. Is that such a terrible thing? I don't currently play, but I was playing Valorant last year. I watch a lot of Valorant, though. Ivey is a tricky buy low candidate, 100%. Yeah, it's 100% worth it. I hope that we're all in agreement on the Ivey thing. Yeah, I would 100% make the deal. It's a good decision. Someone said the Bulls want to re-sign Simons. Who said that? I want to know, because like it's definitely starting to get to the point now where we have to kind of figure out what we're looking at. Man, drafting him with one of our second round picks have combined multiple seconds trade up for the back of the first round. But when you get around and watch him, I think you'll agree. I understand like your thought process, but yeah, I'd have to like watch and everything first. Because what I've seen so far, Tyler, is that like Chinyelu has not even been like projected to go second round in some of these mock drafts. So I don't know really about him like in like a high like second round pick or something. But I don't know all these guys or anything like that, so I have to still do my research. The 51, can you tell me who said the the Bulls want to re-sign Simons? Because I'll be interested in seeing it, just kind of get some clarity about what they're doing. Because like I don't fully get that. Like, are we? You know, Vooch is all for Vooch is all. Is this a great trade for the Celtics? Also, do you think Ivey would be better with more minutes? Like the Bulls could possibly keep him. So let me be clear about what I think. I think Ivey is 100% staying. Like, I think the Bulls had a full intention of trading for Jaden Ivey. He's a restricted free agent. They have a full intention of having him stay. Like, they're keeping him. Simons, to me, was the guy that I thought when we got him, it was just a return for Vucevic that we're like, yeah, we'll take Vooch. The only way the Celtics were going to get Vucevic is if they traded Simons or they traded someone else with a bigger contract, which is obviously not going to happen, right? So the only way that was going to work out, basically, unless I guess the Celtics did have a they had a traded player exception of $22 million, but that would significantly exponentially increase their luxury tax bill, which was not what they wanted to do, right? So they went ahead and traded Simons for Vucevic, right? So they wanted big man help, and they went ahead and gave up their 6th man to get their starting center. So like, you could look at it as like, yeah, this is great for the Celtics. In my eyes, though, I'm looking at it as like, I'm shocked we even got Simons for Vucevic. I think Vucevic had like negative value, basically, in my eyes. And so that the fact that I was able to even get Simons in return is like a big win. And the reason why the Celtics were maybe incentivized to do it was because of the luxury tax bill. This did save them some money. But I'm just a little bit shocked by it, just because it's like the Celtics have been like, they're predicated on defense. Like, defense is everything for them. And so they go ahead and get a starting center that is like one of the worst defensive centers in the freaking league. So that's the reason why I'm just shocked at it. So in my opinion, I think it's a win for the Bulls, honestly. And that's something I rarely say. But yeah, I guess maybe if it's from the Celtics perspective, you can maybe argue it's worth it. I forgot who it was. I can't remember. Hello, what's going on, Taro? Okay, yeah, it's crazy. It's a great day. At this point, do you sit Jane Ivey so he can fully recover? I don't personally do that, because I think he needs the game reps to kind of like get himself into like better game shape and everything. I want to see him play. I think you need to play him because you need to kind of evaluate him before he hits restricted free agency, and then you have to decide how much you're going to pay him, right? That's personally, in my opinion, I think you have to play him for many reasons, but also the biggest one is to evaluate him. If the Clippers trade Harden and the Warriors don't buy, the Blazers might be able to sneak into the playoffs. I think there's actually a really decent chance the Blazers do sneak in. Like, what they got Krejci, right? Like, that's already a win now move. So I think they're going for it. Like, their owner wants to make the playoffs anyway. Denny is an all-star this season. Like, I think they're really trying. I think there's already like a pretty solid chance they already try. Now, if the Clippers do trade Harden, that would also increase the chances for sure. I'm shocked at that Harden rumor. That was so shocking to me. But hey, that's what's happening right now. Dom said it. Oh boy. Okay. How about we got for something for Vooch? Yeah, that's also why I'm just happy about. I was saying I would trade Vooch for a bag of chips, honestly. So the fact that we got Simons back, I'm just like, oh great, awesome. On ESPN? Okay, I'm gonna have to look into that then. I don't understand that, honestly. So, okay, just to be clear then, right? For all the people that thought the Bulls were tanking, like, this automatically just says that they're not tanking, right? If the Bulls have full intentions to re-sign Simons, then, like, they're not tanking. They're trying to win now, so. I'm just confused. Like, do they look at him as the 6th man? Because, like, that would be the only logical explanation, honestly. But then that means, like, you're trading Kobe and Isle for sure then. Assuming you're keeping Ivey. I think I would just rather have the cap space, honestly. Like, don't get me wrong. I think Simons is, like, you know, he's solid in some aspects. But I'd rather be trying to go after Peyton Watson, honestly. I'd rather just the cap space than just go after Peyton Watson instead. Because, like, again, I don't understand why, if you're trading for Jaden Ivey and then you trade for Simons and you're planning to keep Simons, like, why? They play the same position. So then the only other explanation I can think of is that Simons is just gonna be the sixth man, but like I don't love that then. Like I feel like you just have better options, honestly. Unless you're trading Giddy, which I mean I'd be shocked as hell if they traded Giddy. But that doesn't make any sense to me, honestly. I'd be shocked if they're trading Giddy and just like they're having Ivey play the 1 and Simons play the 2. But no, I don't think that's happening at all. I like if you're keeping Simons and you're also keeping Ivey, right? Which I think they have full intentions to keep Ivey here. Then, you're gonna have to bring Simons off the bench, I guess, unless Jaden Ivey is your sixth man. But I think you traded for Ivey to be your starting shooting guard. Could Vooch elevate the Celtics once Tatum is back to possibly win the East? I mean, if like Boston's like desperate need of like big man help was like that desperate, then yes. But I don't think it really helps them elevate themselves too much, just because I think Vooch is like a serious negative on defense. I think Boston's defense got worse today, so that's the only trade-off. But if they like were desperately needed, like if they really did think like, oh, we really need like big man help, then sure. Now here's the thing though. The reason why what I will say, Nathan, is that I will, if I had to answer your question as like a yes or no, I'd say yes. And the only reason why is that I think Brad Stevens is just a genius, and he was the one that just pulled this deal off. If he believes in Vucevic and that this is gonna work out, then like you should have full faith in that. So yeah, there is definitely the chance that like Vooch does really help elevate them, and Brad Stevens finds a way to like use them properly, and it helps bring the Celtics to serious contention level. Bulls trading 3 times in 5 days as well. Oh, it's insane. Yeah, I was not expecting this at all. I really thought we were gonna have a dead silent deadline. Young players with experience. Yep, that means Simons and Ivey fit the bill, obviously. Okay, I'm happy with the trades themselves, right? I think obviously taking a swing on Ivey makes a lot of sense. Simons, though, I'm a little bit confused by. I do not understand why you would keep both Simons and Ivey. I don't get that. They're very similar. So I'm confused, honestly. Was there any update who the third two-way player is to replace Miller? I have not seen any update on that yet. Let me know, guys, though. Like, again, like, let me know if there's anyone that has a tweet out about it. But as of this current moment in time, I believe we have an open two-way spot. Currently. So, yeah, I'm not seeing anything at this current moment in time. There's Shadab Khan as a grain of salt. Rockets are pushing to finalize a deal built around DFS plus draft capital, but Chicago is seeking either Jabari Smith Jr. or Tari Eason. So, okay, right. Like, to be clear, if I could get Jabari Smith Jr. or Tari Eason for Kobe White, 100% I'm doing that. Why would the Rockets do that, though? There's no reason for them to do that. The Bulls wanting Tari Eason makes a lot of sense. But again, you're not going to get Tari Eason for Kobe. Now, can the Bulls go after Tari Eason this upcoming offseason if they have the salary cap space to do so? 100%. I also think that's a fine decision. But yeah, if that's the holdup, then it's just like the Bulls just need to accept whatever the best deal they can get. Like, if the holdup truly is, it's just like if they're like, no, we want Jabari Smith or Tari Eason, I think that's a little bit insane from the Bulls. They just need to accept whatever they can get at this point, and just take the second rounders or even the first round the Rockets are offering. Like, if the Rockets are truly offering a first round pick, I think you should just honestly just accept it now. If the Rockets are only offering seconds, then yeah, you could wait around a little bit, but at the end of the day, you have to accept whatever is the best that is given to you. So yeah. Let me look at Twitter a little bit here. I want to try to get some info about what the Bulls are truly trying to do here, because I want to know if the Bulls are actually trying to get or trying to re-sign Simons. Okay, so Keith Smith has the update for us for the Bulls picks that are the picks that are being swapped in the Boston Celtics trade. And so the Bulls gave up the Denver Nuggets 2027 pick that we just acquired in the Dario Saric deal that we got, where we acquired Saric for 2 second-round picks from Sacramento. Well, Cleveland traded us that pick, right? And so that pick is going to Boston, all right? It is Denver Nuggets pick. To Chicago, though, we get the most favorable, as Rossi said, of 2026 second-round picks of Minnesota Timberwolves, New Orleans Pelicans, New York Knicks, and Portland Trailblazers. And so obviously the worst team out of this is the New Orleans Pelicans. So assuming the Pelicans stay at the bottom of the NBA, like, that's a very valuable overall pick. We have a second-round pick now that is projected to be in the high 30s, or honestly even the low 30s, honestly. But it's going to be like in the first 10 picks of the second round, right? Probably even like the first 8 picks, right? So this is very good value for the Bulls in return. So I'm very happy about that. So that's an update about the pick situation in the Nikola Vucevic trade. So here we go about this deal. So, and it's funny that Keith Smith just tweeted this out because how are the Pistons able to trade Ivey, making $10 million for Sarge, making 17.9? But you guys can go ahead and kind of look at this for a second here. But this is how the Pistons were able to acquire Herter, obviously, and then also Sarge a little bit later here. As you see here, okay, the Celtics will bring Nikola Vucevic in via the Kristaps Porzingis TPE, and so the Celtics actually just created another TPE. That's good business by them. With trading out Simon. So the Celtics might make another move here. We'll see, but they have a large trade player exception to work with right now. Now, how do the Bulls do this trade? Because if you're wondering again, like, when it came to the Dario Saric deal, like, once he was traded, it's like, well, you can't aggregate him with another contract and trade him out. But we just saw him get traded with Kevin Huerter, right? And so you're probably wondering, well, how the hell did this just work out? But as you see here, Sarge is traded by himself. The Bulls did not need to aggregate in this deal to trade Sarge. So, like, yes, it sounds like, oh, we traded Sarge and Kevin Huerter and put their deals or put their contracts combined and sent that out, and so that's the money that that was our outgoing money. The thing is, though, is that was not what happened. Okay, we traded Huerter, obviously, for Jaden Ivey. So we sent out Huerter and then we took back Jaden Ivey. Now, there has also been a talk here about the Bulls receiving Jaden Ivey via the non-taxpayer mid-level exception that we have. So we'll see what the Bulls ended up actually using to acquire Jaden Ivey's contract. Because if they did do that, then we would be creating a new traded player exception that's pretty, like, about $18 million if we did do that. So we'll have to get some word about, like, what exactly the Bulls did do here. But then when it came to Sarge, okay, when we sent out Sarge in that deal, okay, and we took back Conley, Sarge for Conley actually works by itself. So that was basically in a separate deal alone, was Sarge being sent out for us to Detroit. Obviously then Minnesota sends us Conley, but then we were able to acquire Conley via the money that we sent out from Sarge's contract, okay? So I just want to clear that up for everybody, because it's like, again, if you see a player get traded, then that player cannot be traded and aggregated in a trade, basically taking their contract plus another player's contract, put them together in the same trade, and use that as outgoing salary in the deal, okay? That player that was just traded can be traded in a separate deal just by themselves, right? Which is what was the case here for the Bulls. But they cannot be, like, put together. So Sarge could not have been traded with Kevin Huerter together, but this deal looks like it's happened the same time. It kind of is, but Sarge is, like, basically a separate deal. The Bulls did not take Sarge's contract and Kevin Huerter's contract, combine it into one, and then send that out as the outgoing salary in this deal, and to create the simultaneous traded player exception, right? It's a separate sort of deal. Sarge's contract was traded separately away, not with the Huerter contract, okay? So that's how that happened. Want to just clear that up. So again, for all of these players that were just traded here now, right, they cannot be traded aggregated with another contract and sent away. Now, again, you can trade Simons, right? Like I've been talking about. You can trade Simons alone. Simons can go out by himself alone. That is totally fine. But you cannot aggregate any sort of contracts together when it comes to a player that was just traded, okay? So, yeah, I'm definitely interested in seeing what the Bulls do next year. Because, like, I do think that, like, Simons, in my opinion, again, I would be looking to trade him. But according to Shams, or what we heard from who did say that? Sorry, the 51. That it seems that the Bulls are looking to keep Simons right now, which is very interesting to me. I don't understand that, honestly. But Coby White deal, I think, should be on the horizon right now. That should be discussed because, again, like, why the hell would you be trading for Simons and Jaden Ivey if you're keeping Coby White? That doesn't make any sense, right? So I think Coby White is 100% getting moved very soon here. And I hope to God that he just doesn't get injured tonight. Ayo is also, I think, has a higher chance of getting traded now. We will see what ends up happening with Ayo Dosunmu at this deadline here. He's played very well this season, so but I'll be very interested to see what does happen. And Vooch is gone. I'm very happy to see that he is gone. The only other guy that I would be just kind of saying, like, look out for is Jalen Smith maybe getting traded because he's on a pretty team-friendly deal. And I think he could have some value. But maybe the Bulls really like Jalen Smith and just want to keep him around. That's fine. You have another year of his contract after this, so I can kind of understand it. But I wouldn't be shocked, though, if the Bulls decide to go ahead and just trade Jalen Smith now when his value is at his highest it will be for the next 2 seasons. So very interested in seeing what the Bulls do from here on out. We're actually making trades. We are. Yeah, Nostalgia Chris. We are making trades, actually. It is a crazy day. We don't have any big man depth, and again, I'm not too concerned about that at this moment in time. Like, I'm very much aware, like, yeah, we don't have any big man depth. Like, Collins is still out, and he's still out for at least another 2 weeks here. So, at least in my opinion, Collins is out for another month. Jalen Smith is here, but he's also, like, I think currently injured. So, we'll see what's gonna happen tonight. Tonight's gonna be weird as hell. But again, like, in my opinion, I don't really care really too much about kind of where our depth really lies right now, because I don't really care about the wins for the rest of this season. I understand that other Bulls fans are opposite of that sort of idea. They want to see this team try to make the playoffs, but we're making a lot of moves right now, right? I think it's going to be pretty tough overall to try to be an actual, like, decent playoff team with trying to figure out all the chemistry with all these new guys coming in, right? So, in my opinion, I'm not really too concerned about the depth at all, just because I don't really care about the wins for the rest of this season. But I know the Bulls are going to still try. So, we'll see what the Bulls do. Like, I like, if the Bulls do trade Coby for DFS, like, that's not really adding any big man depth. So, they're going to have to find some way to get some big man depth if they are going to truly try to compete this season. But again, in my opinion, why? Like, in my opinion, what should be the priority for the rest of the season is to play Jaden Ivey and just see how he plays. Win or loss, just get him some reps in, just to evaluate him as a player. Get Matas Buzelis some reps in with the other new kind of young blood coming in, specifically with Jaden Ivey. Get to see Giddey, Ivey, and Buzelis play it all at the same time. Like, that, to me, should be the priority. And if you end up losing games because you're getting as many minutes as possible with these guys on the floor together, then so be it. Like, that's totally fine. What's more important, though, is that you get to kind of evaluate how all three of those guys play together, right? And you get to kind of evaluate how much you should be paying Ivey this upcoming offseason. So, it also then helps you, like, if that is going to be your core moving forward, which, again, the Bulls still need to find a superstar somehow. It's not really the best core. But if that's going to be the guys you're rolling with, then it does also kind of help you determine what you need to add to help those guys be the main pieces moving forward, right? So, to me, like, again, the winning should not be the priority right now moving forward. The priority needs to be that you need to see Giddey, Ivey, and Buzelis on the floor together, evaluate how those three players play together all at the same time. If that ends up being L's, okay, it ends up being L's, right? I don't care about the L's. I care more about the time that these guys get on the floor. Also, if Simons is actually part of this team's future, then like he also needs to find time on the floor. I just don't know how you're gonna do that if you have both Ivey and Simons. That doesn't make any sense to me. So unless we're gonna be going 3-guard lineups, where we're gonna see all three of Giddey, Simons, and Ivey on the floor together, which I guess because Billy Donovan is here, that is a possibility. I don't know what exactly we're gonna be doing here. I'll be kind of surprised if that is gonna be the case. I'd be pissed if we trade Io. It's a possibility, right? Again, everyone has a price at this point. I hope they don't trade for Sabonis or AD. That will be devastating. If the Bulls trade for Sabonis or Anthony Davis after the moves that they've just made, oh my god, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm gonna be so upset. We do not need to go ahead and do those sort of deals. That would be detrimental in so many ways. I understand it, and I'm on board with trading Kobe. Unfortunately, I see you've Tyler, you've joined the trade Kobe train. Look, man, I know that you love Kobe, but it's unfortunately just the right decision at this point. I appreciate what Kobe's done here. Unfortunately, this season has been a very, very kind of up and down season, mostly down for Kobe. I'm aware that injuries have been a big issue, but it just has not really materialized for Kobe, unfortunately, for him to like kind of take another step forward here. And he's an unrestricted free agent, so you gotta trade him, in my opinion. So again, you just got Jaden Ivey now. Like I feel like you have to invest into him at this point. He's younger, he's gonna be cheaper. And I would argue honestly he has more potential than Kobe if he can find his way to getting back into form. So that's personally just the way I look at it right now. Look, I appreciate Kobe and his time here. He was a fun player to watch, especially when he was kind of able to figure things out in his like first full-time starting season. Was like awesome to see. But it's just time. It just unfortunately is the proper decision right now. And we gotta make it right. If we trade Io, it better be for something good. He's been hooping this year. Like I said, like it has to be like 2 unprotected or like very lightly protected first round picks that have a good overall value to them. That's just the way I personally look at it. Or it's like 3 like protected first round picks. Like, again, everyone has a price. If it's 1 first round pick, it like better be like you're getting like the Brooklyn Nets like 2027 first round pick or something like that. Like I think Io, again, assuming that this Bulls team is not going to be actually rebuilding, right, and they're trying to be competitive, he's too important that to just trade for like 1 first round pick. Like you actually have to like consider how well he's played this season, and how well he's been able to adapt to all these different roles. And with the way the Bulls are building the roster, like he actually becomes like a really crucial piece suddenly. So he is an unrestricted free agent, but the Bulls actually have a solid chance of like maybe even extending him before he hits the offseason here as a free agent. But if he does become an unrestricted free agent, like, I mean, I would hope the Bulls find a way to re-sign him. The last thing though the Bulls need to do though is if they don't trade Io and then he leaves in unrestricted free agency though, that is going to be an unacceptable kind of just amount of events that would happen, right? Don't know what the word is, sorry, I'm blanking on a word here, but sequence of events, that's what it was. The Bulls need to, if they don't trade Io, they need to try to get an extension agreed upon immediately, and if they can't, then they're gonna have to have some sort of backdoor kind of agreement before he hits unrestricted free agency, honestly. So please make sure that we just don't just lose Io for nothing. That would be a horrific overall decision and just sequence of events. I'd be so down for Jabari Smith Jr. for Kobe. Oh, I think we all are. You're not getting him though. I'm sorry. I hate to say it. You're not getting Jabari Smith Jr. for Kobe though. What are the chances Bulls get to the second round of the playoffs? To me, it's basically slim to none. They're not a good team, unfortunately. You're not getting past the first round. Assuming the Bulls are not somehow a 4 seed heading into the playoffs. Could Jabari even be traded? They're saying he's poison pill, whatever that means. So poison pill basically means that Jabari's on a very tradable, like he's on his rookie deal still, basically. His money, like, it goes through the roof though. Or I guess not through the roof, but it's a lot next season, basically. Oh, sorry, this is not going to help you actually. Let me go to the Houston Rockets. So when we say poison pill, basically what we mean is that the money goes up higher. Like significantly higher after like this season. Okay, so for example, as you see with Jabari Smith Jr. here, my cursor's over him. He's making $12 million this season, which is his rookie contract, third overall pick, right? So he gets $12 million in his last rookie deal, last year of his rookie contract. But then all of a sudden the money shoots up to here, right? And so you're talking about a $11 million increase when it comes to his salary increase. So that does it does kind of be like, that kind of sucks, right? I have to remember though, I'm not a perfect person for the CBA. I know a lot of things, but I don't know everything. But there might be a clause about the poison pill. Like there might be a poison pill clause about like if you do trade that player that does have like some sort of like big increase in salary that they've already agreed upon and signed, that there might be like a limitation to what you could trade him for in terms of like how much money you can receive back. But let me just do a quick little Google search. Is that for the receiving team, the player's incoming salary value is the average of their final rookie year salary and the extension years. For the trading team, the outgoing salary is only the final rookie year salary. Okay, sorry, let me read this again. The poison pill part of the rule is that for the receiving team, the player's incoming salary value, so for the Bulls in this sort of situation, the player's incoming salary value is the average of their final rookie year salary and the extension years. Okay. That's quite interesting, actually. Okay. So the incoming salary for Jabari Smith Jr. then, pretty much though, okay, that's actually pretty brutal. Basically it's not gonna happen. If like I'd be shocked if there's a way the Bulls find a way to kind of work this out. Or actually, okay, instead of you getting DFS, you'd be getting Jabari Smith Jr., I guess. I guess that's the way it would work out. But it's basically, you would take 12.35, and then you would add up all these years. And so I'm just going to go quick here. I'm not going to be doing exactly like every single number right, or like to the T, but you get the idea. 23 plus 25 plus 27. And so it is the receiving team, the player's incoming salary value is the average of their final year rookie salary and the extension years. Okay, and so we're going to go ahead and divide this by 6 because there is 6 years left remaining on Jabari Smith's contract, if I'm doing math correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so instead of the Bulls trading only for $21 million, or sorry, instead of the Bulls only trading for $12 million in return to make the trade work, instead the incoming salary is going to be $21 million. And so Kobe for Jabari Smith Jr. alone won't work because Kobe's outgoing salary is 12.8. This would not work, unfortunately. So that's the problem. The Bulls would have to add to that deal. Which would be pretty rough. And it's a pretty hard deal to kind of like figure out how to make it all work out. So I think it's overall pretty tough to unfortunately get there. If you're looking to trade Kobe, they're either gonna limit his minutes or he's sitting out tonight. I think he should sit tonight for sure. But again, the Bulls, Billy Donovan doesn't want to tank, right? So if he's available, right, then I feel like Billy Donovan's just gonna be like, yep, you're gonna go ahead and just play. His salary increases by 15% if he's traded. Okay, yeah, that's brutal. What about Kobe Io / Jalen Smith for Jabari Smith? So I think money wise, my issue is that it doesn't fit for the Rockets. Then the Rockets also, the issue for the Rockets is that they're basically hard capped, so they cannot add any extra money to the deals that they're doing. Like they can't add any money basically. And so we'll just go ahead and just like do this as just like an example just to show you. Spot track's down again, woohoo, because so many people are on this website. I mean, honestly, who's to blame? Let me just show you, for example. As a Duke fan, do you think you guys will get coach? Is this Scheuer? Is that how I say his name? I'm honestly, to be clear, I was a major Duke fan like 8 years ago. I'm no longer that, so I don't know anything about college basketball. Am I saying that right though? Is it Scheuer? Is it Scheuer? I don't know how to say that. But I know that there's rumors about it. The only way that actually does happen is if Billy Donovan goes to the front office, like he's like, I'm done coaching. I'm just gonna be. It's like Cryer, so Schreier. Okay, I got it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't. The only way I see that happening is if Billy Donovan says like, I'm done coaching, like bring me to the front office, and he gets elevated to the front office, and then we go ahead and just bring him in. But I think honestly, there's just, I don't buy those rumors at all. Honestly, unfortunately. So I mean, like, so to be clear, I don't know anything about Schreier's. I hope I'm saying that right. I don't know anything about how he coaches, how Duke is really doing, honestly, besides Cam Boozer, right? So I unfortunately just don't really know. But I mean, I think at this point I might be willing to try anything that's not Billy Donovan, because I just don't like Billy Donovan. So I think I'd be open to it, but I'd have to do my like, you know, proper research to see how he actually is as a coach. Sorry, spot track is just, as you can see, is down because there's so many people on this website and we're trying to all make trades. So I do apologize. It's like it's loading here, but it's just gonna take a little bit. Yeah, let me know your opinion, Dan. Like, do you value this guy? Like, he's, you know, like the next like Coach K or something, or what are we looking at here? Like against D Rose in Illinois high school championship back in the day. Oh wow, that's a cool fact. Shire. Okay, Shire. Got it. Thank you. Oh, okay. Sorry. Oh, I see. So, okay, D51 put an extra R in it. Okay, so it's Shire. Got it. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. I do apologize for my pronunciation. Duke is 20 and 1. Oh, I did not know that. Okay, wow. They're having an insanely good season then. I mean, yeah, I'd be willing to try it. I think just from that alone. Again, I need to do my actual research into how he coaches and like how Duke plays and everything. I have to watch some Duke games, which, yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be a fun time if I could have some free time to do that. But yeah, I'd be all for it just to get out of the Billy Donovan regime, because Billy Donovan, I think, has done a pretty awful job this season. Like, he's been horrific this year, and so if we can just go ahead and just move on from him and have a coach that would actually would be willing to play the young guys more and let him play through his mistakes, like, yeah, I'd be for it. I would Duke even allow that? Like, I feel like Duke would be pretty upset about it, right? Hoiberg was a good college coach, and he sucked in the NBA. Well, Hoiberg was not, like, what was Hoiberg? Where did he coach at again? I always forget about this. Which is the reason why I have to do my due diligence, right? Like, I'm not just gonna be like, oh yeah, like, I'll take anything besides Billy Donovan, but like, I'll have to actually like research into Shire and like how he coaches and what Duke kind of runs. Like I said, I'm a huge Duke fan. Seeing these rumors, so I'm trying to see what people think. Are the Bulls firing Donovan? To be clear, the Bulls are never firing Donovan. No. If you think that are the Bulls considering firing Donovan and bringing in Shire as like their main option, that's not what's happening here. What could happen is that Billy Donovan decides that he's no longer going to coach anymore, and he's going to get elevated into the front office. The Bulls love Billy Donovan. Like, they cannot stop praising this man. They love this man like so much that it's just like, I swear to God that the Bulls organization loves Billy Donovan more than like their own family members. It's insane how much they love this man. I can't stand it. But the only way that it would be possible for the Bulls to have an open head coach spot is if Billy Donovan decides he's going to go into the front office, because that's basically already confirmed that once Billy Donovan decides to stop coaching, he's going into the Bulls front office as some sort of exec in some sort of fashion. Probably just like a consultant, but who knows, honestly. So to be clear to you, Dan, I think the odds of this happening. Oh wow, Spotrek's having a hard time. I think the odds of the Bulls getting Shire is very low. Like I really don't think it's gonna happen. Unless there's something behind the scenes that is happening. Because like to be clear, Billy Donovan just got a new extension like not even a year ago. So I'd be kind of shocked if Billy Donovan suddenly is like, yeah, I'm done coaching, even though I just signed a new extension. Like, I'd be pretty shocked if that is the case. So I do not think it's a high possibility, honestly. Yeah, and to be clear, the Bulls are never firing Donovan. They love that man to death. It hurts my head. I do not like Billy Donovan. It bothers me how much the Bulls love him. Yeah, I personally don't see it happen. Are we back? Hi. Sorry, I just saw I dropped like a billion frames and then all of a sudden I had no bitrate. So, are we back? If you could give me like a thumbs up emoji in chat if you see that I'm back. Because the stream like legitimately just completely stopped. Sorry about that. We're back. Okay, thank you. Holy shit, that was not fun. Sorry about my internet. Yeah, I don't know. I hope that my whole spiel about Donovan and just saying that I think the chances of him not being the head coach like moving forward is low. I feel like there's like, if I had to like give you like the odds, I think it's like a 95% chance Billy Donovan, or honestly even like 98% chance that Billy Donovan will be the head coach of the Chicago Bulls next season. I'd be honestly really shocked if he's not, because again, he just signed an extension like just recently. It's either like a year ago or like just over a year ago that he signed the extension. So I'd be utterly shocked if somehow that they're moving on from him, or Billy Donovan decides he's not coaching anymore. Yeah. Okay. To the 51, I appreciate you being here in chat. So this is basically how the money would work. The 51, if the Bulls would trade Kobe White and Jalen Smith for Jabari Smith Jr. The problem with this deal is just that the Rockets, again, if they're acquiring any money in this deal, which again, the Rockets, when they send out Jabari Smith Jr., it's based off his rookie contract. So it would be $12 million that they can only receive in return, which that automatically already makes this trade illegal. But the other problem is that the Rockets are hard capped. Like, they're basically at the first apron, which is the hard cap for them. So adding any money is like basically impossible to do. And so if they're adding in any money to their books, it's like, it's brutal. They just can't do it, pretty much. So unfortunately, this is just not possible. Unfortunately, also, like, I mean, or maybe honestly, fortunately, like I don't think IO even works either. I could be wrong, but I don't think IO even works. Yeah. Oh, whoops. That's still with Kobe White on the books. Sorry. Yeah, this doesn't work either. So I mean, it would work for the Bulls, obviously. For the Rockets, though, again, it's too much money just coming in on the deal. They'd be over. So, I will say Spotrek's like a little bit off with their numbers. Like, I think the Rockets can like actually add $1 million, but that's it. Like, if they're sending out $12 million and they they bring back $13 million, I think that's okay. But I think Spotrek will say it's not okay. Like, for example, just to show you, like, I've been trying to like show people like, all right, here's like my Kobe White idea, right? And for Spotrek, it says that this is not legal for some reason. I don't know why. Spotrek says this is not legal. But they're only. Oh wait, no. Okay, they fixed it actually. Okay, thank God. If you were on my stream like a week ago, this trade was not legal according to Spotrek, which is just like, I don't think that's right, because the Bulls are the ones acquiring the money actually. But they were just like, oh no, like whatever. But no, this is okay. This works actually good. Yeah, this is totally fine. Well, let's say for example this trade. I'll just show you this. Let's say if it's Kobe White for Reed Shepherd, this does not work, right? It would be Reed Shepherd for Kobe White, right? Like Reed Shepherd's making $2 million less. As you see here, this money doesn't work. Right? that's the margins that we're working with. Now, the trade itself is within the rules, but because the Rockets are hard capped at the first apron because they went ahead and used they've used their non-taxpayer mid-level exception, or they've made a sign and trade or whatever it was, or they made a trade where they acquired more money than they sent out. They're hard capped at the first apron, therefore they cannot send out. They cannot acquire that much more money in any deals, basically. So as you see here, Kobe White for Reed Shepherd, this doesn't even work. This would bring the Rockets over the hard cap, which would be illegal. So this trade is not gonna be possible. Wait, where does it say Anfernee Simons? Are you capping? No, I'm not capping. The Bulls did trade for Anfernee Simons. This is legit. I am not capping. I know you just tuned in. Is it Junta? Yeah, the Bulls somehow were able to flip Vucevic into Anfernee Simons. I don't know how, but I'm like honestly ecstatic that the Bulls were able to do this. It is honestly insane to see that the Bulls were able to pull this off. I was like, wow, but the Bulls are actually able to do this. I am utterly shocked that the Bulls were somehow able to do this. So, yeah, the Bulls have Simons. I'm not capping. So they could take Ayo. That wouldn't work for the Bulls then. So if it's Ayo Dosunmu for Jabari Smith Jr., let me show you what happens, right? Like it doesn't work. It works for the Rockets, right? But it doesn't work for the Bulls, because again, the Bulls are gonna be taking back in this deal, if Spotrick would load, it would be $22 million that they would be getting back. Ayo only makes $7 million, right? So $7 million isn't gonna cover for $22 million. In terms of when you do trade simultaneously. Therefore, that does not work for the Bulls, right? For the Rockets, it would work, right? If it was just the Rockets side that we were worried about, then yeah, Jabari Smith for Ayo Dosunmu would work for them. But for the Bulls, though, it doesn't work. And obviously, I just showed you, like, Ayo Dosunmu plus Jalen Smith doesn't work either, because then it basically flips it, where it's like the Bulls can take back Jabari Smith Jr., then the Rockets, though, can't take back both those guys because they're only trading out $12 million in outgoing salary. So, that would be the issue. I think the Bulls have an $18 million trade exception. They do, right? But again, Jabari Smith Jr., his money that the Bulls would be receiving, he's making $22 million, okay? And if you're wondering, the Bulls, like, traded player exceptions cannot be aggregated together with a player, okay? You can't take Ayo Dosunmu's $7 million plus that traded player exception of $18 million and combine it together for 25. That does not work, okay? You cannot combine traded player exceptions with contracts. That is illegal. And if you're also wondering, $18 million for traded player exceptions, you have to have the full amount of money to take the entire contract, right? And so for the Jabari Smith Jr. situation, because of the poison pill contract, if he is sent to the Bulls are basically receiving in that trade $22 million. $18 million does not cover for $22 million, obviously. And the traded player exceptions don't have the same logic as contracts being traded. Because if it was an $18 million contract being traded, that would work for the Bulls, but it's not. It's a traded player exception. Therefore, it does not work out. So that's not possible, unfortunately. I'm trying to show you this. If Spotrick would just load, for God's sake. I don't know why it's giving me such an issue. Right? Well, I guess I know why. But yeah, this is unfortunately just how it's going to have to, like, see here. Ayo for Jabari Smith Jr. Again, as you see, Jabari Smith, the outgoing salary or the incoming salary for the Bulls is $22 million, right? For the Rockets, though, as you can see here, the outgoing salary, you have to look at these numbers down here, it's $12 million, right? So this makes the trade negotiations so hard because the Bulls are receiving $22 million, but the Rockets are only sending out 12. So imagine trying to make up that sort of difference and trying to make it legal for both sides. It's hard, right? And if you're wondering about this, I don't think the Bulls, I don't think the Bulls have the TPE in just yet in terms of, So, it seems like we're gonna have the $18 million traded player exception from the Anfernee Simons, or sorry, the Kevin Huerter deal, because it seems like we took back Ivey with our non-taxpayer mid-level exception, which is what it's saying here is available to us. Again, we'll see what ends up actually happening here, but it wouldn't be a bad decision for the Bulls just to use this to acquire Ivey And then when you traded Herter away, it's basically an $18 million traded player exception that you created, because you didn't use that, what you sent out in Herter's contract, as any sort of reason, or you didn't use that money to acquire somebody, basically. So, yeah, we probably have a TP of $18 million, but it's just not updated yet at this moment in time. I'm glad we didn't go for any Terrence Shannon Jr., Rob Dillingham stuff. I mean, as of right now, it seems like that's a low possibility of us going for it. But again, wait, the deadline's not over, people. I hope we understand that. The deadline's over Thursday. So, like, if you think the Bulls are done, they're not. Just to be clear. Or I hope they're not done. I'd be very shocked if they are done. I'd be actually pretty upset. How do you feel about Ivey? I haven't watched him much. So, in terms of, like, what the Bulls decide to do to get Ivey, I like it. I think it's a good overall decision by them. I am very much aware, though, with Ivey, that this season's been a really rough go. He's, first year back from his injury. He had a broken fibula. My bad. I thought it was a torn ACL. I don't know why I thought that. But he does seem like a step slow compared to, like, his explosive, or his, like, first step quickness that he had prior to the injury. However, though, his shooting seems to be, like, pretty solid. But he's just not starting caliber right now, unfortunately, with what we've seen so far this season, or at least not for Detroit, who is obviously at the top of the Eastern Conference. And, Duncan Robinson's kind of been their starting shooting guard anyway this season. However, though, Ivey before the injury was someone I liked a lot. I liked Ivey a lot before that injury. And so I think it's honestly a worthwhile risk for the Bulls to go ahead and acquire him now, because the Pistons are looking to buy now, and we're kind of dangling Ivey, and they weren't going to pay him anyway. So you go ahead and acquire him now. Ivey is going to be a restricted free agent, but I think that's okay. And you're just going to basically kind of take a low risk bet here, and see if Ivey can return to form. It might just be a case with Ivey because he's only played about 30 games since his injury. Like, he just needs some more games under his belt for him to kind of get fully back into what he was beforehand. But if he doesn't, right, then I'm going to hope that you do not pay him too much this upcoming offseason, that if he happens to not turn into anything, okay, you know what? It was a good overall decision in the first place, because you're kind of betting on him, obviously, to kind of get back to what he was beforehand, which was a 17 point per game scorer as, like, the second or even third option for Detroit, and has some explosive ability at the guard position. So I like the deal overall. I hope that he can return to form. He's an exciting player when he's, himself, like, prior to his injury. He was pretty exciting to watch. But yeah, we just don't know, right? We just don't know if he's going to be able to return to that form, obviously. But I hope he does. I think it's going to be exciting to see how he does play. And I hope that the Bulls just go ahead and just start him once he gets here in Chicago. Ivey's good at getting to the rim and is decent on defense. So the problem with what you said, the 51, is just, like, I've been seeing what Detroit Pistons fans have been talking about, but I've also seen some of Ivey this year. He definitely just doesn't have the first step quickness that he had before, which is a big part of him getting to the rim, was, like, that first step quickness, because he's not the biggest guy, obviously. That needs to still, like, we need to get that back into form, right? We need to find a way to get that back for him to obviously excel here, right? Defensively, he has had his struggles this season, unfortunately. Now, I do think that with Ivey, his prior years, I thought of him as a little bit of a better defender, maybe like his rookie or sophomore years, but I think definitely this season has been a little bit rough for him defensively. He's had some rough goes. But I hope that he can, again, I hope he finds a way to kind of just get back into form and everything. But, yeah, I am definitely a little bit concerned about the defense, because, again, like, if we're trading Kobe because he's not a good defender, like, I don't think Ivey's going to be that much better defensively, but I could be wrong. I do think, though, that Ivey has the possibility, though, of being a better defender than Kobe, for sure. That's definitely something that I'm looking at. Would it work with a 3-team trade? I mean, anything's possible with a 3-team trade, but I'm not the person to try to figure that out. If you can figure that out for me, then great, I can go ahead and look at it, but it's tough to do 3-team trades, man. And the poison pill contract already alone is just so hard enough that I don't think it's going to be a 3-team trade, but who knows? Are we sure that Trey Jones isn't going to be on the move? No, I'm not sure. I'm definitely not sure. However, I think the Bulls have made it very clear how much they love Trey Jones, and so I would think that they do not move him. But if it was up to me, if I was running the front office, I'm trading Trey Jones for sure, because I think he has good value. But for what we've heard from the Bulls, I think they like him a lot, so I do not think they will be moving him. Yeah, as the 51 says. Yeah, I was somewhat excited for Ivey, but after looking at his recent highlights, I would have preferred keeping Kevin. Really? Oh, no. Salty solution. I'm all for this trade. I think getting Ivey for Kevin Huerter, who, again, I did not value Kevin Huerter at all. He was just an expiring contract, and he's had a horrific year shooting. I'm definitely doing this deal. I'm just, again, just because I have concerns about the deal does not mean I don't like it, okay? I want to be clear. I label what I've liked about this deal already. I think this is a good low-risk bet for the Bulls here. However, I am just aware that Ivey is a restricted free agent and that like he might not actually ever return back to form. But I think it's a worthwhile bet because he's only played 33 games since his injury. And so if you take basically the last 2 years combined, like he's only played 63 games, right? So I think he just needs, like, there's just a chance that he just needs reps, and I think that's a possibility that he just needs reps. Get him some minutes, and hopefully his body will come back to him, and he'll be back to the explosive guard that we've seen in Detroit before. Because again, like, I mean, his year 3 season and the numbers of which, again, I'm aware that it was only 30 games, but these numbers are great. Like 40% 3-point shooting, 46% from the field is like pretty all right. 17.6 points per game in year 3 of his career. Like, that's very impressive. So I'm hoping he can get back to that form and then increase on that. But again, we don't know. It's just, we'll have to see. But in terms of Ivey for Kevin Huerter, I'm like, yep, send Kevin Huerter to the airport. I do not want Kevin Huerter on this team anymore, personally. I'm good with Kevin Huerter leaving. I do not need him around. Huerter has been like really bad recently. I don't think people understand. Like, I think people just kind of just listen to Stacey King constantly and just don't realize how bad Kevin Huerter's been. Like Stacey King praises the shit out of Kevin Huerter constantly. I'm just like, I don't think he's really been that good this year. Oh, he's no longer on this team. Right, I forgot about that. But let's see if yeah, let's go here. So I mean, this dude's shooting 31% from 3-point range. Like, that's not good. In terms of his overall shooting, just kind of numbers, it's been really bad. Like, this is the reason. This is my concerns when I had of Kevin Huerter when we did trade for him. Was that he was sucking in Sacramento. He was awful, and then like he came here and had like a insane run of his 3-point shooting, but he has not had that at all this season. Like, it's been terrible. But if you look at his wide open 3-point percentage, like, I mean, this is not good. Like, it's not like, oh, he's like taking like tough contested threes, which is bringing his percentage down. He's shooting 32% on wide open 3-point shots this season. It's bad. Which is the reason why I was saying that I thought Huerter was washed when he got to the Bulls. Well, I guess like 2 months too early about that, because like he's not looked good. And I feel like I'm still right about the Zach LaVine deal at the end of the day. But basically my concerns about the Zach LaVine deal, they came true basically this season. It didn't come true last season when the deals were made, because Collins played great and was healthy, and Huerter obviously found his 3-point shot. But my concerns with the Zach LaVine deal was that I thought Huerter was washed and didn't have his 3-point shot anymore, and Collins is always injured. And look, lo and behold, Collins has barely played this season, and Huerter sucks. So I'm just like, hey, at least thank God we re-signed Trey Jones, because the big concern about the Zach LaVine deal was that I like Trey Jones. He was just an unrestricted free agent, though. Can you imagine if Trey Jones left in unrestricted free agency this past offseason? Like, the Zach LaVine deal would have just been, we just got our own pick back. Like, that would have been freaking awful. Like, I was losing my mind over that. So, that's the reason why with the Zach LaVine deal, I'm like, bro, I was just right. It was just a little bit too early, I guess. Huerter for Jaden Ivey is very good. And so, if you want to now convert it as like, okay, you know what? At least we got Jaden Ivey out of the Zach LaVine deal, sure. But, like, yeah, Huerter, to me, man, I do not value this man at all. He was just an expiring contract. And so I'm very happy that he's gone. I'm honestly just shocked that we were even able to trade him for something that was, like, kind of worthwhile taking a risk on, and we get good value for him, honestly. So yeah, I'm very happy overall with it. he's been better than Herter on defense. I can agree with that when it comes to Jaden Ivey. His defense has been better than Herter in some aspects, but again, I haven't watched Ivey every single game he's played in. Unfortunately, I just seen bits and pieces of him, but yeah, I mean, maybe a lot of guys are better than Herter, honestly. Ivey is shooting damn near 40% from three from the arc, yet he definitely needs shooters. Well, so this season, obviously, Ivey's not shooting that, right? He is shooting 37% from three-point range this season, but last season he shot 40%, yeah. And so I'm hoping he gets back to that. That'd be very good, because that basically then, like, it's automatically an upgrade over Kobe if Jaden Ivey can just be a 40% three-point shooter, because Kobe was never going to do that here. That was the big problem with Kobe, is that, like, he goes on these big runs of, like, he knocks on everything, but then the next game or something, or next, like, month, he's like 1 for 10 from three-point range in, like, a game. So if Ivey can be like a 40% three-point shooter, that's an automatic upgrade over Kobe, in my opinion. Assuming that Ivey can get back to his, like, scoring potential. What do you think Tre Jones goes for, or what would you want? It would either be like a late, late first round pick this season, or like a heavy protected first round pick, or like a lot of second rounders, basically. That would be what I think you get for Tre Jones. Which I know a lot of people are like, no, I'd rather just keep Tre Jones, which is fine. That's your opinion, but typically teams don't really give out, like, they don't usually spend first round picks in a trade for a guy that's coming off their bench. So I think, honestly, if you're even able to get like a projected like 25 or even like later first round pick this upcoming offseason in the draft, like, I think that's honestly like a humongous win. So that's what I'm looking for. At least we got our D Rose game winner from Kevin. That was probably his ceiling for us. I mean, honestly, yeah, that's something that he'll never forget, I guess. But yeah, even though his numbers are down this season, his three ball is decent, still 37%. Yes, that's the biggest thing with Ivey, is that even though that his like overall like explosiveness has not been there, or his like quickness hasn't really been there, like 37%, like all things considered, you know, for the games he's played in, like it's very solid for him. So again, ideally, if he's gonna be in the starting lineup, I want him to be at like closer to 40. Like, you know, if he's like 39.5, like great, like that's still really good. But yeah, like the shooting from what I've seen from him is still like promising. So like we're not like getting a guy that's like forgot how to shoot or something. Like, no, he still can shoot. It's more so about like, can he become that sort of like, you know, 3-level scoring threat if he has the quickness and first step quickness and explosiveness that we've seen him have before. That's gonna be the big question about it. And if anything, right, if let's say Ivey doesn't return back to that, at least he's a good shooter, right? That's important. All right, some impressive defensive moments. So that's about it. I was mostly at the beginning of the season. Like, Herter's defense at the beginning of the season was like really solid, and then it fell off a cliff, in my opinion. At least recently. Io's a lot higher trade value than Tre. I'm guessing Kobe and Io traded. Giddey and Tre are point guards. Ivey and Simons are shooting guards. That's interesting. It's interesting that you say that Io is higher trade value than Tre Jones. I'm not sure, honestly. The argument for Tre Jones having higher value is that he's on a team-friendly deal, has 2 years left on his contract, right? Io is going to be an unrestricted free agent, and so teams sometimes don't want to give up future, you know, valuable assets for a guy that's going to be an unrestricted free agent. So I'm not entirely sure, honestly, what we're looking at here. The thing is, though, is that Io has played better. Honestly, Tre Jones has had an insanely good year as well, but Io, I think, does offer teams a little bit more flexibility in terms of his three-point shooting, can guard multiple positions, and is also bigger. Tre Jones doesn't really shoot threes, obviously, is smaller, but he's also played really well. In terms of the defense, Tre Jones is probably like as an individual level defender, I think Tre Jones is better, especially because he's the guy that gets the most steals for us. In terms of just having better size and like better off-ball defensive ability, guarding multiple positions, Io is probably better. So we'll see. I'm not sure which player has more value. It might be Io at the end of the day. But I think, though, it's important to note that, again, Tre Jones has those extra years of his contract, which would increase his value at the end of the day. Her shooting's been bad this year. Oh, it's been terrible. Yeah, I'm very much like, when Herter like got kind of like to like basically the beginning of December, and his like 3-point shot still wasn't like getting fixed. I was like, okay, like, bro, I'm nervous for you, man. And then it just kept going. It's been bad, unfortunately. Collins been hurt all year. Yep, Collins been hurt all year. That's the issue with Zach Collins. Like, people, like, don't get me wrong, when Zach Collins has played, he's been great, but that's been the problem with Zach Collins his entire career, is that when he's played, he's like effective, but that's when he plays. Like, he just can't stay healthy. He's always injured. He's missed multiple seasons, I think, just due to injury alone. So I just can't have Zach Collins being this like, oh yeah, he's valuable. No. Like, if the Bulls want to bring him back in this offseason after we've gone ahead and signed all these other guys, and, you know, we've already, like, released his capital and stuff, but if they want to bring him back for, like, you know, like $3 or $4 million or something, like, yeah, sure. But, like, I think expecting to get production out of Zach Collins every single season is a bad overall decision, because he is just so injury prone that if you're depending on him to be your starting center, like, you're in trouble. So we need to move on from him, at least in my opinion. At least that you should not be expecting him to be like a prominent starting or backup center for you. You have to move on from him and just be prepared. If you're gonna bring him back, that he's just gonna be like basically your third center or something. But in my opinion, if you're gonna have it be your third center, you might as well go and get someone that's actually gonna be healthy. I personally would not bring him back. I think Collins' time here is done. But again, I think Zach Collins has been a very effective player when he's been healthy. That's the problem, though. He just is in too many injuries in his career. Going for Jabari Smith and Ayo for Misi would be fire. I might want more for Ayo. Kobe for Jabari Smith would absolutely be incredible. Again, we just talked about it, though. The money does not match, though, so I just don't think that's possible. Ayo for Misi, I'm kind of against it, honestly. I think I'd rather just keep Ayo. I know I doubt it, though. That would be a fleece. Oh, I see. I always get worried with getting wrapped up in trading valuable players for good value, because what's the end goal? We end up trading for a star and end up with a sorry team, but at least we have a star. So when it comes to, like, you know, trading for value, right? Like, I think the Bulls have done, like, honestly pretty decent. Like, for example, like the Dario Saric trade, right? The Bulls, like, you're not gonna play Saric, right? Even if the Bulls, like, didn't just trade Saric in today, like, you're not gonna play Saric, right? That's a value trade, though, because you just got 2 second-round picks that you just used one of them, right, in this Vucevic deal, right? And then in that Vucevic deal, you got a second-round pick in return that's going to be projected significantly higher than the second-round pick that you just sent out, right? Like, that's the reason why, in my opinion, value still matters. Like, I understand that it's, you know, like, it's you're kind of thinking, like, well, what's the point? But at the end of the day, like, when it comes to value, like, assets have value, right? And the only way you're going to be able to go and make some of these, like, big key decisions is if you actually have the assets available at your discretion. And the Bulls were able to pull off that trade with Vucevic because they went ahead and made that Dario Saric deal to take on a salary dump and get 2 second-round picks out of it. Like, that's how it works in today's league. Don't get me wrong. I understand that there is always, like, okay, well, like, you know, for example, the Jaden Ivey thing, right? It's like, well, you're hoping that he returns to form, and so it's like it's a low risk, like, high value play potentially for the Bulls. I get it, right? But at the end of the day, I look at what Kevin Huerter was to us, right? I look at his value, which to me is basically nothing, okay? And so if I can go ahead and increase my value with, like, taking an asset and then sending out for another asset, and I increase the value of what I sent out, right? Or in this case, what I received is higher than what I sent out. To me, it's always worth it. You need to be building up constantly. But don't get me wrong. I understand like what the concern is, that it's like, oh, like, what are we just doing? Like, are we just kind of circulating, just assets around the league? But the problem is, though, is that this is what you have to do when the Bulls decide not to actually go ahead and tank. Like, the other way the Bulls, like, this is okay is if they go ahead and actually accumulate a shit ton of draft picks, right? But because the Bulls actually aren't going to go ahead and actually tank here, like, this is how you have to play it, right? You have to go ahead and take some risks and get a guy like Jaden Ivey and hope you can blossom into something that's, you know, better than what we've seen in Detroit, right? But there's a risk involved with him. Simons, I don't know exactly what the plan is for him. Again, I think that the Bulls should be trading him, but If they're keeping him, then I guess they're hoping that he turns into something better. But that's what you're subject to, because you're not actually going ahead and tanking, right, to actually try to go and get the superstar to help then build around it. You're trying to just accumulate assets, and then hopefully, let's just say, for example, they keep Simons. Like, maybe then Simons ends up being part of a superstar trade deal because he's played pretty decently well. He's on a decent amount of contract. You've hopefully accumulated a lot of draft picks and other assets in previous trades. Now you can go ahead and actually make this sort of big superstar deal. But that takes a lot of time when you aren't really willing to make the proper decisions, like trade Kobe White last season. It puts you in a rougher spot. So I get it. I understand the frustrations, but I think today is a overall good day for what I've seen for the Bulls. And I'm overall pleased with it. Because in reality, here's the thing. Like, hopefully, when it comes to Jaden Ivey, like, when I watched Jaden Ivey before he got injured, I'm like, yeah, I see all-star potential in him. Will he become an all-star? That's still, it's too early to tell. But I see all-star potential in him, and I think that's important to keep in mind. And I hope he eventually does become one. Thank you for the steady content. Hey, I appreciate y'all. I haven't really been that steady recently just due to my class workload, but this time frame works for me today, so I'm happy to be here. If it was a different day, things would be different. I'm glad it didn't happen tomorrow, for sure. Like, if this all happened tomorrow, like, you would have gotten a video from me instead of the stream. I don't mean trading end of bench players for value. I mean, like, trading players like Io for value. Well, I've even said it. Like, I think if the Bulls are actually trying to be, like, good, then, like, you don't trade Io. Unless it's, like, obviously for, like, significantly, like, high value, right? Because, like, for example, if I could get 2, like, unprotected, highly rated first-round picks for Ayo Dosunmu, yes, I'm doing it. Because then I can take those assets, right, and get me something more valuable. Because those 2 assets are more valuable, at least in my opinion, and the trade block versus an Ayo Dosunmu who's on the last year of his contract. Now, do I think would it be okay for the Bulls to go ahead and just keep Ayo and extend him? Yeah, I think it's honestly fine. I think it's honestly good value for the Bulls to also do that, assuming he's not asking for, like, $25 million a year, right? Ideally, it should be under 20, closer to the mid-level exception, which is $15 million this upcoming offseason. So, yeah, I think honestly keeping Io is fine for the Bulls. Again, though, everyone has a price. Everyone has a price. Josh Giddey has a price, right? And I think my price is probably a little bit lower than some other Bulls fans on Josh Giddey because I unfortunately I'm still kind of concerned with him when it comes to like being the main guard on a winning team. That does not mean I'm saying he can't be a winning player, but I'm just saying that if I was the Bulls, like the only guys I'm really honestly like really truly on keeping is Buzelis and Asenge right now. But I understand that if the Bulls are trying to full out win right now, or again trying to be competitive, they're not going to be contending as of like next season maybe. But if they're trying to like just stay in competitive level, which is pretty stupid in my opinion, but if they're still trying, then yeah, you're obviously keeping Giddey, you're keeping Buzelis. You should probably keep Io in that sort of instance. I would expect you to keep Trey Jones, right? And you got Ivey and Simons, so we'll see what they end up bringing, I guess, which is just, I'm still confused about that. I don't understand why you would bring in both Ivey and Simons together. I feel like you still need to trade Simons right now. I understand those trades, like Rich and the Ivey trade. I like those. I mean, players who actually are valuable to the team. I understand that. Like, Ayo Dosunmu is very valuable to this Bulls organization. I get that, yeah. However, though, again, everyone has a price, right? Like, 2 highly rated first-round picks unprotected is going to be a much valuable trade asset than Ayo Dosunmu being, like, on the last year of his contract, right? That's what you have to look at when it comes to value. I should send a longer message instead of firing them before establishing a full point. Oh, no, you're good, man. I can keep up if you, like, send it rapid fire. Sorry, I know I took a long time to get to current level of chat here, but I appreciate your patience with everybody. This front office is so bad at drafting. I'd rather they take players. Is the second really the answer? No, that dude is the 10th man. I mean, I understand that people are like, again, we can't be judging a Senge off of what we saw his rookie year when he played like 10 minutes. Like, we can't be judging him off of that. Senge was going to be a project. Like, even myself who wanted the Bulls to draft, I'm like, yeah, he's a project. I am very much aware of that. So I don't know. The Bulls are just so stupid because it's just like, if they were actually like truly rebuilding, then like Senge makes a lot of sense to be chosen because he's gonna get the playing time. He's gonna get time to work through his growing pains and everything. The only issue though is that you have Billy Donovan as coach and the front office that wants to try to compete, and so you still drafted the Senge, but he's not gonna get any playing time at all. So I honestly I don't really get it. I'm also confused by it, and so like yeah, if you want the Bulls to not go ahead and draft because you don't trust in the draft, then I've already laid out. Like, I've already laid out to you guys in I think it was last week's stream on Wednesday night, or was it Thursday night? It was Thursday night, where I said, all right, listen, if you're anti-build through the draft and anti-tank, which, you know, that's against my overall what I think the Bulls should be doing, but if you're a person that wants the Bulls to go ahead and try to just go be good and try to, like, help this current team that they have around them right now, then I've already laid out the formula for you guys. The Bulls have cap space this offseason, and I've been saying Peyton Watson is going to be available for the Bulls. The Denver Nuggets cannot keep Peyton Watson, at least I don't think they are. They have to make a pretty significant trade to go ahead and do that deal. But Peyton Watson is going to be a restricted free agent. You're going to have the money, assuming that you don't make any sort of long-term deals right, or bring out any long-term contracts right now. But you're going to have the money to go ahead and pay this man who is having a career year right now. He's a significantly better defender, like perimeter defender than almost everybody on the roster, okay? Besides maybe Trey Jones. But like, this guy is having an insanely good year. He's averaging 15 points per game, a steal and a block, over 40% from three-point range, over 50% from the field. You had the money to go ahead and get this man this offseason. If the front office, who is not clearly going to ever tank, is not going to clearly build through the draft on us, obviously, is not going to go ahead and accumulate draft assets, but does not, then goes into the offseason and does not go after a guy like this, is one to help spend the money that they have available to them to help make this roster better and bring in more players to help increase the overall level of play of this roster, and especially on the defensive end, then everybody that is trying to clamor for, that are trying to defend this front office, which you shouldn't be anyway, but the people that actually try to defend this front office, you have no argument to defend this front office at all. They continue just to go into just mediocrity, and then they have a chance this offseason to actually really try to improve this team, and they then don't go ahead and spend that money to help improve this team. You have no argument whatsoever. The idea that this front office is doing anything good, if they don't do it this offseason, I don't know what else to show y'all. Like, this front office is garbage. Like, there's no excuse for it. There is no excuse for this front office to not go ahead and actually try to do something good for this team and help on the defensive end of the floor for this team this upcoming offseason. They have the money. They also have some assets. But if we're not going to build through the draft, then this is the way. Well, I hope that they're ready to actually spend some money this offseason. Because it's the only way. Like, if you're really not going to go ahead and actually try to make this team like better through the draft, then it better be this way then. I don't understand what else there's any other way besides, well, it's down to the trade market, but guess what? We do not have any first round picks besides our own and maybe the Portland pick. So it doesn't put you in a good spot to go ahead and upgrade your team if you only just have your own first round picks, when other teams that are currently contending right now have significantly more picks than just their own. Okay, so I'm just making it clear to everybody, like, you already should be pretty pissed off at this front office, and don't get me wrong, I think they've done a good job today, but I'm still not satisfied with what they've done. But if they truly go into this offseason and they do nothing, like, I hope that everybody is ready just all the AK defenders that are still somehow out there, including some content creators that I'm very shocked that are defending this front office, like, you better be ready to just jump ship. Because there is nothing you could ever tell me right now to convince me that, no, what they're doing is fine. I actually think, honestly, being dead serious, like, the Bulls, to be clear, the Bulls are actually trying to win this season, right? The Bulls have made it clear that they're trying to be good this season. Like, it's already frustrating enough that the fact that they're actually trying to like be good and they're still awful. Like, they're still 2 games under 500 and the 9 seed right now as we speak, I think. But that's terrible. Like, I don't know why people think that's like something that's like, oh, you know what? It's okay though because we don't have DeRozan or Levine or Vucevic anymore. Like, it's being our young guys are leading us to this point. I'm like, first and foremost, Vucevic has led us to like 3 wins this season thanks to his late game shot making. But also, like, it doesn't matter. Like, you're paying guys that are on their second NBA contracts. You just pay Giddey, right? Kobe was supposed to be part of the future, and right now it's not looking like that right now. And you're only gotten to just this point. Like, it's not good. It's still not good. This team needs a lot of upgrading still, and so I'm not happy with this record for obvious reasons, just being stuck in mediocrity. But it's also just like we haven't taken a step. People want to like argue like, oh, you know what, like this team is so young, like the fact that they're even going to be close to 500 is so great. I'm like, no, like we were basically 500 last season. I understand Levine and Vucevic were here, but again, we had Vucevic this season. Like, we haven't taken a step forward. Like, people want to act as if Levine was such a net negative. I'm like, okay, well, why aren't we really that much better? Like, we should be better right now. We're not, right? And it's because, unfortunately, when it comes to Giddey, as much as he's improved, he's not an all-star. Like, people want to tell me that he should be in over Norman Powell or Pascal Siakam. You're insane. I'm sorry to tell you that right now. Josh Giddey shouldn't, even if Giddey was playing all the way, like, and was not injured, like, he does not deserve it over Norman Powell or Pascal Siakam. Okay? Kobe obviously didn't take a step this season. That's an L for the Bulls, right? Buzelis has done good. I'm happy with his development, but it's not like this team has gone anywhere. We're still stuck. Like, we have not improved at all. So I always just, I want to make this clear just because I think so many Bulls fans are just like, they're like kind of buying into the Kool-Aid of like, oh, well, I mean, it's like, you know, at least Levine and DeRozan aren't leading us to like the 9 seed anymore, which is like, okay, yeah, obviously. But it's right now with this current team, like, I'm not really seeing anything that's going to tell me that if we continue on this sort of trend, that we're going to be significantly better like in just a couple of years. Like, we need to actually upgrade this team significantly, which is the reason why I'm pretty pissed off right now still. Like, I'm not happy with this front office. Like, we got to still just give us a reality check right now. And drafting is very important moving forward. Like, the front office, like, no matter what, like, even if you don't want the front office to be building through the draft, drafting is still crucial moving forward. Like, even if we're still trying to win, like, it is extremely important that this front office figures out a way to actually start drafting correctly, because whether you're actually trying to rebuild or you're trying to win, like, drafting is so crucial. And I'm hoping that it's gonna be something that they eventually start to figure out soon. But I don't know, man. It's gonna be tough. Can we trade Ivey? We can trade Ivey, but again, he cannot be aggregated with any sort of contract. So I can't take Jaden Ivey and Ayo Dosunmu, put them together, and send them out at the exact same time in the same trade, and, you know, create a $17 million simultaneous traded player exception. I can trade Ivey, though, alone, right? If I just trade Ivey just by himself, that is legal. But I would be shocked if the Bulls did that. I feel like they did a good job. Yeah, I'm personally looking at it like that. Especially with what I've learned with this team specifically, they'll waste whatever assets we end up stacking. Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm already concerned that we're gonna do something stupid. Like, I'm not here to say like, oh, it's like gonna be like a good overall day and we should have full faith this front office does a good job this trade deadline. I'm not here to say that. I'm here to say that the moves that they did today were good, but that's it. Like, they still have a lot of decisions to make, and I'm worried they're gonna screw it up. Because they have given us no reason for us to have faith in them to actually do a good job with these next moves that they need to do. I share your concerns about Giddey, but I don't know who'd be looking for him. I'm not sure either, but I think that what's gonna have to happen soon, and it's not gonna happen this year, obviously, and it might not even happen next season, but like, when Giddey is gonna be in his third year of his contract, and I don't think he's gonna like his like overall like PRA, like these box score numbers that everyone loves about him, like I don't think it's gonna increase anymore. Like I'm being dead serious. Like I feel like we're just gonna be kind of stuck here with him. I don't think he's gonna ever average 20 points per game. I know that he was doing at the start of the season, but it didn't continue. But either way, he's not the main ball handler, even if he was averaging 20 points per game. The Bulls are going to have to make a decision with him eventually at some point. And so, in my opinion, I'm just like, well, he's having his best year of his career. Like, he's on his current, like, he's on his first year of his 4-year deal. Like, his value is only going to be the highest it's ever going to be right now. Like, it's only going to go down from here, at least in my opinion, unless he obviously turns into an all-star. So, which at that point, you're just keeping him, right? So, I think when it comes to with Giddey, it's like, in my head, it should be that you should be trading him now. What team would want him? I have no idea. Golden State kind of makes some sense, but like, yeah, no. But I obviously, if the Bulls are not going to trade him, like they're all in on Giddey, and so I've accepted that. And I think for Giddey, he's gonna either the Bulls have to move on from him, or if the Bulls actually do get someone like, let's say for example, Jaden Ivey like explodes here, like he becomes like a 26 point per game scorer, like Giddey's gonna have to sacrifice his on ball reps, which he is a player that gets some of the most in the NBA anyway. Like he's gonna have to really sacrifice, instead of being on ball all the time and the offense running solely through him, he's gonna have to move over and be off ball more, which I still think he could be a winning player that way. I think with his improved 3-point shooting, his overall rebounding, that he could still be a winning player. I just don't know if he can increase his defensive abilities to becoming that sort of level of player. But again, unless he's gonna suddenly actually become like, Luka Doncic light, which he's not, then I'm like, okay, well, I don't really see you as being the main ball handler or the main guy moving forward. Again, if Ivey actually like comes in and just explodes, then he's the main guy. He's the main ball handler, and he's gonna have the ball in his hands most of the time moving forward. Giddey is going to have to just move down to like a small forward spot or something like that, which I don't love, but that would have to be the way. He's going to have to like adjust effectively. Unfortunately, like with Giddey, like I know that I'm not going to be too critical of the games that he just recently played, but in the games before he did get injured, like it wasn't really like that good of performances from him, at least in my opinion. Like it wasn't anywhere close to what he was doing at the start of the season, where the Bulls got off to a hot start and he was like basically like an MVP candidate like through like 7 games. Like what he was doing before he just got injured before that Minnesota game, like it wasn't anywhere close. The turnovers were at an insane rate. His efficiency was declining overall from the field. His 3-point shot was still there, but it wasn't that great from him. So that is my concern with him moving forward. I would hope that a lot of people understand that Giddey's not a superstar. I know that there's this one Bulls Twitter account that is in almost every single content creator's like replies, and it's just like, and he replies to me also about how Giddey is a flat out star, and I'm just like, brother, he's not even named to the All-Star season this season, and I feel like this was like his best chance. So I don't know, man. I appreciate what Giddey has become, because again, I did not think he's ever become this good, but he's gonna have to take another serious leap here, for at least in my opinion. 2 unprotected picks for Io could mean trading Io to get P. Will and Dalen Terry. I don't trust the front office at all. Let me put it to you this way. 2 unprotected first-round picks that are viewed very highly are better trade assets than Io DeSumo on last year of his contract, right? That's the way I look at it. Even if you don't think that the front office is good at drafting, and you think that the front office is not going to use those picks effectively, they can use those picks to actually trade and actually go and like get something valuable, right? That's the reason why everyone has a price. Now again, I've said it. If I'm only going to be offered 1 first-round pick for Io, I am not trading him right now. He's been too good this season to trade for just 1 first-round pick. Assuming that the Bulls are not going to actually like dedicate themselves to the rebuild. But again, like everyone has a price. If the Bulls are offering 3 first-round picks for Josh Giddey, you better be accepting that, at least in my opinion. I think he goes for 2 right now, but if the Bulls get offered 3 first-round picks, yeah, I'm accepting that deal, definitely. I'm moving on. Yeah, the Bulls should tank, but AK, I mean, well, shouldn't be the main guys. They're bad at drafting. Oh, for sure. I mean, the proper thing that the Bulls should, the front office or the ownership should be doing should be firing the front office. And then we could talk about actual proper decisions being made. But yeah, until that happens, then I expect the Bulls to not ever tank and not rebuild, and they're just gonna try, right? I like Asenge and hope he does well because him and Buzelis fit well with Giddey. Add Peyton Watson to that would be very happy about. So yeah, I don't exactly know how it would work out because like to me, Peyton Watson is a small forward, and so like I don't know where Asenge would fit. Like Buzelis would be the 4, Peyton Watson's the 3, Ivey would be the 2, right? But I overall, either way, just adding in Peyton Watson, who's a very solid defender, would significantly boost this team so much because this team, like the offense has gone through ebbs and flows this season. This team's defense is garbage. It has consistently been like ranked 24th or like worse throughout the entire year, besides the start of the year where the Bulls were getting really lucky. This defense is atrocious. So now we did move on from Vooch, which I guess that will help a little bit. But like again, we need perimeter defensive help. We still need it desperately. And getting Peyton Watson, I think, would be a great overall decision. To help boost that. Maybe I missed something, but let's roll out this front office draft picks since they've been here, except Io and Buzelis, they're extremely lucky to get. Not like I understand that, Tyler, but what did I say to you? I said that 2 first-round, highly rated first-round picks is a better trade asset than Io DeSumo. That's the way I look at it. So I'm not trading Io for 2 guys I'm looking to pick in the draft, right? I'm trading Io for 2 more valuable assets right now that I could go ahead and trade and upgrade my team later. That's the way I look at it. Yeah. Do you think Giannis is going to trade deadline? Also, where do you think he goes? My gut feeling is that Giannis won't be traded this deadline, but will be traded in the offseason, and I think he's going to like Houston or the Lakers. Like, the Lakers can do it in the offseason. They can't do it now. And this is assuming that LeBron leaves, which is signs are pointing to that, honestly. And so the Lakers can go ahead and make the trade in the offseason for Giannis. Houston to me makes a lot of sense. Like I look at Houston and I'm just like, okay, if you want to cash in now, like it's now or never. Durant's 37, you know, like Houston has a great package they could offer, and I think that would be the team to go to. But who knows? But that would be my 2 picks right now. I don't see him going to New York. I don't think he wants to go there, but like I don't think the Knicks have the package. But I could be wrong here. He's not coming here. I made that very clear. And so I know that Minnesota's trying to go after him, but I also question that. But I guess they can offer a decent package, honestly. So if I had to pick, I think he's going to the Lakers in the offseason, honestly. Like if I'm like being dead serious, like I don't think Giannis gets traded just because of limitations that just trade deadline bring to the Bucks. And so if the Bucks wanted to like really try to cash in, I feel like they would just wait till the offseason. But if it's really truly like he needs to be traded now, then I'd pick Houston. I think they have a pretty good offer, honestly. Yeah, he's already doing that. What? A walking triple double? Okay, again, Giddey's triple double of it being 18, 9, and 9. All right, is nowhere near what Cade Cunningham does, what Luka Doncic does, what all these other scorers like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander does not average a triple double, but he is significantly a better player and is more valuable to in all aspects. Okay, just because triple double, it does not mean that this player is all of a sudden significantly valuable over guys that only just score. Okay, there's been a shift in this league where the player that's going to have the ball in their hands the most has to be the biggest scoring threat on the floor. Okay, that is the biggest shift that's been happening. Giddey is not that. All right, he's not the scoring threat that these very insanely good scorers are that we're seeing at the All-Star games. He's just not that, and therefore he's not as valuable as that. Now, if Giddey was averaging 25, 9, and 9, that's a different story, but he's not doing that. He's not. He's averaging under 20 points per game. with the ball in his hands, and he gets the most possessions out of almost anybody in the freaking league. Okay, so if you're gonna average like the most possessions out of anybody in the freaking league, then I would hope that you're gonna be averaging at least over 20 points per game. I don't think that's too much for me to ask for, because I'm watching all these other guys do it and average significantly more than 20 points per game. Okay, I'm watching guys average 30 on insanely good efficiency and also bring good defense. Okay. That, to me, is why I think Bulls fans are still stuck in this whole, like, 90s era of just, like, oh, well, pass first point guard's so good, and he also averages 18 points per game. He also averages 9 rebounds. I'm like, okay, listen, I'm not saying that's not valuable. That does bring value, okay? What I'm saying, though, is that in terms of being the main guy on a championship caliber roster, is Josh Giddey a star right now? No. Is Josh Giddey a superstar? No. If Josh Giddey averages 20, 10, and 10, is he a superstar? No. Okay? You have to average high points per game to be a superstar in this league, to be the main ball handler, to be the main guy. Okay? Now, Josh Giddey could go and be like a secondary ball handler for this team and average like 16, 8, and 8 on good three-point shooting and good rebounding. That is a winning player. That is a winning player. Is he a star? No. Is he a superstar? No. Okay? Josh Giddey was not an all-star this season, and this was his best year of his career. So why should I think that he's suddenly supposed to become a superstar when this was the most chance that he had to actually have the ball in his hands out of his entire career? That's what we're talking about. Okay, that's the problem that we're having right now, that I don't think a lot of Bulls fans want to actually just accept, that they think that Giddey is just going to suddenly become like Luka Doncic 2.0. That's not going to happen. And so until we understand that, then this Bulls team actually has to go and figure out who's going to be their main guy. Again, Giddey can be a part of that team of being a great team moving forward, but he won't be the main guy if he's just going to continue just to put up these numbers. That's the reality. Okay, what's up? You know, it would be good with someone like Zion, maybe, or someone like Giannis or Zion, maybe, if he could stay healthy. So I disagree on both of them. So I think Giddey next to Zion or Giannis actually doesn't work. Giannis, to me, like, Giannis has the ball in his hands, right? Like, Giannis needs the ball in his hands. Like, he's not really like a screen setter. I can maybe see Zion, like, I've kind of become a little bit more open to like the idea of that kind of working out, but even still, I don't think it really fully works, just because assuming that Giddey's got the ball in his hands, like, Giddey just wants to drive, right? And so neither really provide that much spacing for him. And also then, if in Giannis' sense, right, if let's say Giannis was on the Bulls, right, Giddey wouldn't have the ball in his hands, and then he's just going to be less effective anyway. But I think that he's going to have to eventually become that at some point. It's just gonna take some time, but he's gonna have to really adjust his game, right? It's not gonna be having the ball in his hands a lot. There's gonna be possessions where you just don't get the ball. He's gonna have to really increase his cutting ability and his three-point shooting ability, his three-point volume, I should say. His cutting ability needs to also increase, and then obviously defensively he's gonna have to be, like, you know, better. But again, winning player, but he's not the main guy. Now, if he's somehow got to find a way to actually average 20 points per game and like be like the secondary ball handler, right, then he's gonna have to figure out this pull-up jump shot that has not really been that great. It's improved this season, don't get me wrong, but he's gonna have to really improve on that pull-up jump shot. He's still gonna have to find a way to actually go and create his own shot without getting to the basket. That's gonna have to be like crucial for him. So like yeah, Giddey can like get downhill and get to the rim off the dribble, right? But the pull-up three-point shot, or just in general pull-up jump shot, has not been consistent throughout his career. He's gotten better this season, but it's in limited attempts. I need to see that increase a lot more for me to be more like, okay, yeah, like you're like a secondary ball handler for this team instead of just being like a starter that is, I don't know, like your fourth option or whatever. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it's going to work out with Giddey, but I'm also just very much aware, just the way that I view the game, like Giddey as the main guy, not someone that I would trust in as the main guy. Okay. And it does kind of irk me a little bit of just like the whole, like, you know, I am concerned just how like the whole OKC situation kind of went down with him, but I understand it. But it's gonna seriously still require Giddey to adjust his game as he moves forward, in my opinion. Let's see. Los Angeles Clippers star Kawhi Leonard has been selected to the All-Star game. Oh, thank God. Okay, so that's to replace Giannis. Harden, I feel like also deserves it, man. I don't know why LeBron got in from the coaches. Like, LeBron didn't deserve it this year. Now, can the NBA make an exception for LeBron James? Yes, obviously they should be, but like the coaches didn't need to just add in LeBron this year. I was shocked to see that he was on the list. Front office needs to go, but is it ownership holding us back too? Holy shit, we were screwed. No, like, to be clear, this front office has been given plenty enough to go and make a good team. Okay. Ownership obviously also sucks. Like, two things can be true. Reinsdorf sucks, but this front office has been given plenty to go and actually make a winning team. Okay, they've been allowed to spend up basically to the luxury tax line. There are many teams that also only spend up to the luxury tax line, and they're contenders. They're in the finals. Okay, the Bulls haven't done that though. That's the problem with them. Like, people want to just say, "Oh no, it's the ownership's fault for the Bulls not spending money, or like they're holding them back." No, the front office also really sucks. That's the issue. Like, they've been given plenty of money, of resources, opportunities, and everything to go and actually make a winning team. They just haven't done it. So that's their fault. That's not the ownership's fault. That's just their fault. Now, in terms of, yes, like, they're not going to spend to the luxury tax line. That's the ownership's fault. That's 100% on ownership. But in terms of actually building a good team, the front office has been given plenty, and I'm shocked how many Bulls fans still try to like defend them, because I'm like, no, they've been given plenty of time and plenty of resources to go ahead and actually build a good team. They just haven't done it. So here we are. The Bulls got more guards. Again, I think Kobe's getting traded, so I just want to beg some, like, just people be cautious about like freaking out about the amount of guards. Yes, it's a shit ton of guards, don't get me wrong, but I think Kobe will get traded, and I also do think that I think Simons, at least in my logical sense, should be the guy getting traded. But we've also been hearing that the Bulls want to keep Simons, so we will see. I get what you're saying about you viewing assets now. I'm just so down on the front office. I don't trust them to draft trade for the right guys. Fingers crossed they prove me wrong. I understand what you're saying, though, Tyler, but at the same time, like, I would hope that even if you don't trust the front office to be drafting or trading for guys properly, that they're still accumulating assets at the proper time, right? Like, a front office can be like bad at making trades, but that shouldn't stop them from accumulating assets at the proper time, right? So again, trading Kobe when you should have done it, like, a bad front office, like, they may not ever use the assets they get in a trade properly and actually get good value for it. But if still, it would still be good it'd be the proper thing and good work from them if they still traded a player at the proper time and get good value in return. So I'm hoping that when it comes to this front office, like, yeah, you might not trust this team to actually go ahead and make the proper trades, right? But if you see them actually go and accumulate the proper assets, then at least they'll still be in like a potential window of like, yeah, I can actually go and make this trade now because I have the assets available to myself, right? What the worst possible case scenario is that the Bulls don't trade guys and get the assets that they need in return at the proper time, and then there's a guy that comes up on the market, like Giannis, for example, and the Bulls just are like, yeah, we don't have the assets for it because we messed up on our deals prior. That's the problem. Like, I hate that, right? But at least give yourself that opportunity to get into that position where you have the assets available to go and make these deals. That to me is very important, in my opinion. Well, he starts with the greatest 15-guard lineup of all time. That's honestly, I would be so keen on seeing that just to see what exactly would happen. Yeah. He's doing it. Giddey's been the best player for the Bulls this season. That's not what I like. To be clear, Giddey's been the best player for the Bulls this season. I am not saying, I'm not debating that. Has that led to anything though for the Bulls this season? No, it hasn't, because he's not a superstar. One, but also like the Bulls just they obviously need more. But why is it such a bad thing of like this is where I also get an issue with Bulls fans. Let's say the Bulls somehow add an actual superstar, and that guy is averaging, 28 points per game. Why is that a bad thing? Like, Bulls fans are like all of a sudden just like, no, we shouldn't add this guy because Giddey's the main guy and it's gonna take the ball, Giddey's hands, yada 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 yada. I'm just like, why is that bad? I'm sorry, if I could add Jason Tatum right now, and Josh Giddey has to not have the ball in his hands as often as he usually does, I'm doing it. Absolutely. Like, why wouldn't I do that? People want to still think though, like, no, Giddey needs the ball in his hands though, so like we can't add a superstar. What are you talking about? If Montes Buzelis ends up becoming a 25-point per game scorer, he gets the ball in his hands more. Giddey gets the ball in his hands less. That's good. That's a good thing. Like, that actually elevates the Bulls' ceiling if that is what happens, okay? Like, I feel like there's just so many Bulls fans that are so against it. Just like, no, Giddey has to do everything. Like, Giddey's the guy. I'm like, Josh Giddey's not even an all-star this season, and you're saying that right now if you could add an actual all-star to the roster, you wouldn't do it because Josh Giddey wouldn't have the ball in his hands more? Like, what are we talking about? Stop. Like, this team needs actual all-star. We don't have that right now. So until that actually does happen, then we need to actually start thinking about, no, if we could upgrade over Josh Giddey as being the main guy, then yes, you upgrade over Josh Giddey being the main guy. Like, what are we doing? Like, just think logically for just 1 second. 1 second, please. Like, if Josh Giddey is not an all-star and you want to upgrade this team to be becoming an actual contender, what do you need? A better player than Josh Giddey. Simple. Like, what I don't know what some people are on, man. Giddey needs a go-to scorer to give the ball for his game to be really effective. I mean, sure, but at the same time, though, the whole reason why a pass-first point guard, at least in my opinion, doesn't work is because let's say, for example, let's just say we had Jason Tatum, right? We had Jason Tatum, but instead of him bringing the ball up the floor and running a pick and roll, instead we have Josh Giddey bring the ball up the floor. Josh Giddey is not as much of a scoring threat as Jason Tatum, but Jason Tatum does not have the ball in his hands right now. Josh Giddey does. So we all know where the ball's going. It's going to Jason Tatum, but Giddey has the ball right now, but is not much of a scoring threat. So it's like, why would you do that to your offense when instead you could give the ball to the player that is by far the best scoring threat on the floor? That puts more pressure on the defense at all times, because that player can go ahead and just make a shot from anywhere, and that puts the most amount of pressure on the defense at all times. Okay, so like this whole like pass first like idea, it just, to me, it bothers me, because that day and age, in my opinion, is over in the NBA. The Rajon Rondos of the world, for example, that's gone. Like, Rondo is not that effective in today's world, not just because of his three-point shot, like that he doesn't have, right? But it's also just because he doesn't score. Like, that's the problem with Rajon Rondo. And so Giddey's not Rondo, obviously. He's better than Rondo. Well, obviously, I would hope that he's better than Rondo at this current moment in time. But, like, in terms of what we're looking at right now in the offensive end, like, yeah, I would hope that Giddey is better than Rondo. I know Rondo was an insanely good defender. But, like, yeah, Giddey is a better overall, can score better on his own than Rondo. But he's not at the level of, like, an actual, like, all-star, superstar guys that we've been seeing. And when it comes to Giddey, like, again, like, it's the pull-up shot that I'm still trying to figure out with him. And so if the Bulls go and get a guy, right, that is going to be more involved in his a much more efficient and better scorer that you can rely on every single night, then like he's just got the ball in his hands more. Like, even if Giddey's still here, it's like this whole idea of like setting up his teammates, like, it's like the defense is more worried about that guy in the first place. Like, you have to be what we call gravity. You need to have gravity around you to help draw in the defense consistently to actually open up the rest of your teammates in today's NBA. And that's, it's something that only comes with if you're actually like a top tier scoring threat or better scoring threat, right? So I'm hoping, like, to be clear, this is not me asking. I'm not asking for Giddey's downfall. I don't want that to happen. I want Giddey to prove me wrong. Okay, but if this is the best that we're going to get from Josh Giddey, which I feel like it is, like, I feel like this man's had the ball in his hands a ton this season, and I'm still not seeing 20 points per game, and his efficiency still could be better, in my opinion. Like, okay, well, if that's the case, then I'm like, all right, well, we need to find a way to upgrade, and I don't think that's me being ridiculous. I just don't at all. Do you think Giddey could become a 25 point per game a game player? No, because I think his mentality first and foremost is not that. His mentality is always just like he just wants to set up his teammates and just pass the ball and find his open guys. So until he has a mentality shift, it's not possible, and I also just don't think he has the skill set to do so. Could Giddey give me 25 points in a game? Just kind of, one of the games of the season? Yeah, I mean, we saw it obviously a lot this season, but in terms of like consistent scoring, like, no, I don't think he's like, if you're gonna average 25 points per game, you're gonna have a lot of 30 bombs in there. Like, that's just the reality of the situation. Wish Giddey had a better dribble package. I wish that too, but to me, it's more so about his shooting. Like, if Giddey just had a better kind of like pull-up shot, like, I think a lot of things would be fixed right now. But it's just, he's slow kind of like, form into his shot motion, into his release and everything. Like, that's the reason why he doesn't really shoot that many pull-up shots, because it takes a while for him to get it off. But yeah, ideally, yeah, the dribble package would also be better. But to me, it's also just like, I think he needs to find a way to increase his like pull-up shooting efficiency to allow him to like actually come off a pick and roll and consistently shoot it and make it. Like, that'd be great in my opinion. 23-year-old average triple-double, not a first option player. Is that 23-year-old averaging more than 20 points per game? Quant, answer me right now. Is that 23-year-old averaging more than 20 points per game? Is he? No. Kobe White averaged more points than Josh Giddey has averaged this season. Last season, right? Like, stop. What are you talking about? You think Giddey is good because he's the main ball handler, but the way he's the main ball handler isn't good enough, so you would need to adapt his game. Yeah, it's not good enough. It's definitely not good enough. Like, yeah, again, Giddey's gonna have to actually average like 25 points per game before I'm gonna say like, yeah, it's good enough. It's just not good enough. The reason why I think Giddey is good now though is what I said before. It's his rebounding, right? His ability to actually push the fast break tempo and like and create fast break opportunities. It's also his 3-point shooting that he's exceptionally increased on, right? Like he's become such a very good 3-point shooter. He's one of the best 3-point shooters on this current Bulls roster right now. Like, that's the reason why I think Giddey's become a better overall player. His overall ability as the on-ball player, though, like, the only thing that's really improved has just been, like, his ability just to drive and, like, straight-line drives. But he's still, even with that being said, he's still having some issues, like, finishing around the rim as a 6'8" man. And he still doesn't have a pull-up shot that I trust, right? So it's still a ways away from me being, like, no, like, on-ball ability. Which is, so what I'm saying is that I think that he could still be a good player if he just has the ball less in his hands. Like, that would increase the Bulls' ceiling, right? Someone that's better is going to have the ball in his hands. Someone that's better than Josh Giddey would have the ball in his hands more often, but Giddey can still be an effective player, but with his 3-point shooting, his rebounding ability, and his ability to also kind of maybe be a secondary ball handler at times, and obviously push the fast break, right? Like, that, those are all very important things. Obviously, then his passing on top of that is also nice, but like, I'm not like too worried about that at this moment in time of like his passing. Because like, as we've seen, when the Bulls haven't had Giddey, the Bulls passing is still very good. Like, it's more so right now what I'm seeing with all the assists. It's like, I mean, Io had almost a triple-double in that Miami Heat game. Trey Jones, like, he was doing insane work when Josh Giddey was out, like, when he was in the starting lineup. Like, the passing is fine. Like, we see this Bulls team still get near like 30 assists or even over 30 assists, even when Giddey wasn't playing. So I don't really think like Giddey's passing is like, oh my god, it's like some of the best like we've ever freaking seen levels of stuff. It's very good, but I don't think it's like, oh, the Bulls need Giddey's passing to always be like that, like what they've done so on offense this season. Like, the Bulls have been kind of fine on offense in certain moments without Giddey's passing. What they do need though is Giddey's, fast break ability and his 3-point shot a lot. That's been very important to them this year. And then obviously when Giddey can find a way to actually, put up like big scoring numbers, like, yeah, that's pretty huge. But again, even when he's had some of these like big scoring numbers, then there's games where he doesn't, and we're back to under 20 points per game again. So it's just a long ways away. It doesn't even have a go-to move offensively. It's just drive, right? It's create a downhill action for him. That's what he's trying to do. Yeah. And it's honestly also him kind of just, which I appreciate that Giddey does this, by the way. I'm not saying it's like him being like, explain the rules or anything. He throws his body like and his arms into the defender and gets the foul call. Like that's great. Like I actually want more Bulls players to do that. But that's good. Like it helps get him some free throws. Yeah. He's saying Giddey's ball dominant, not a star. If you bring in a star who's ball dominant, he has to learn to play off ball because he won't have the ball in his hands. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Giddey's gonna have to adjust to that. If we bring in a 25 point per game score, or if Matas Buzelis develops into that, or if Jaden Ivey develops into that, right? Like it would be a disservice to them and to the team to still have Josh Giddey be the main guy, main ball handler, when he's only averaging 18 points per game or 19 points per game, when I have a guy who's averaging 25 on better efficiency and can score more effective and more consistently every single night. Like that's just the way it rolls. So it's either, again, Giddey's gonna have to just really improve, which he's already proven me wrong. I did not think Giddey would ever get to this point that we're at right now. I was like, nah, like there's no way he's gonna ever shoot this well from 3-point range. I did not ever think we were gonna even see a points per game season where it's gonna be like even over 18, right? So that's something that I'm like, okay, we're past levels that I did not ever expect to be at, right? But the reason why I wasn't very high on him initially is because I did not think he could even get past this first level that I'm talking about, right? And so he's gotten past it. So the next step though is just 3 times harder. That's the thing. Jaden Ivey, what's going on, Noel? Yeah. Jaden Ivey is here. Noel, we did have this. Sorry, that's not the correct trade. This is the trade. Kevin Herter for Jaden Ivey, basically. We did trade Saric, but it was basically for Mike Conley, which Conley was basically just a salary dump by the Timberwolves here. But we'll see what we do with Conley. But yeah, I'm overall pretty hyped about this deal. I think it's a pretty solid deal. I'm looking forward to seeing Ivey play with us, and I'm looking forward to seeing what how the Bulls kind of value him, because like I'm still very confused about the Simons situation, because I don't understand why we got both Ivey and Simons, and we're planning on keeping both. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. But I'm more than ready to see what they do. They're seeing Giddey as what they think he can become rather than what he is now, right? Which again, I'm like, he's 23 years old right now, which I understand he has time still to improve, but it's also his second year. It's his second contract, right? So it's not like I'm watching a 21-year-old put up these numbers, okay? Like, or a guy that's in his second year of his rookie deal, right? I'm watching a guy that is on his second NBA contract that I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to hope that you're going to really turn into something. Because again, right now, like $25 million a year for Josh Giddey is just like, it's par. It's like, you look at like Steph No's model, like it's basically just saying par. The Bulls basically are paying what they got, right? It's just like, okay, like it's Giddey is like he's a solid starter as the main ball handler right now. But he's not been an all-star. He hasn't been that. I trade Giddey and more for Giannis immediately. Oh, I think a lot of us would. Like, if I could trade Giddey and like Buzelis, like I know it hurt, but I don't think you're gonna get Giannis unless you trade Buzelis. Like, yeah, I mean, I would definitely do that, but like, I don't think there's any reason to do that now because you're very clearly seeing this Bulls team trying to take some risks on some of the younger players, and that's fine. He's 23. He could. That's your opinion, right? That's my opinion, and you also have your opinion. But at the same time, what I'm talking about right now is the reality of what I've seen from Giddey, right? Giddey has not, unless something has actually happened. Like, unless I am like totally oblivious, or like somehow something changed in the freaking universe that no, Josh Giddey actually is averaging like 24 points per game right now. I don't know. Tell me if that's the case, but I'm just speaking what's happened so far, right? And this is just my overall assessment for a guy that is getting a shit ton of possessions every game, and he still can average 20. So if that's the case, then I'm like, okay, well, I don't think you're gonna ever become a 20 point per game or not even like, I mean, hell, yeah, you're gonna be the main guy, you better average more than like 25 or more. But if you're gonna be like the secondary guy, I'm like, you gotta average 20 points per game. And so I just don't think there's that much room to grow, because I'm like, Giddey is already getting a ton of possessions. Like, I don't really know what else it's gonna take from him besides just he's gonna have to really switch his mentality and actually really improve that jump shot, or mostly pull-up shot. Like, his 3-point shot's good. So yeah, again, It's just my criticism of Giddey. I can have criticisms of Matas Buzelis as well, and I feel like a lot of people are going to take it as just like, wow, you must hate Matas Buzelis. No, I love Matas Buzelis, man. I'm just saying right now, from what I look at, like, when I look at Buzelis, like, yeah, he could be an all-star, but right now, like, I'm not sure. I think he's going to like, at least in my opinion, I think he's going to be like a very solid starter, but like, I'm not sure. Like, we have to just understand where we're currently at right now. Yeah. Steven, no. Yeah. Yeah, but Steph No, by the way, is awesome. I got to talk to Steph No at the Summer League that Victor Wembanyama was. Never remember which year that was, but Steph No was awesome to talk to, and I'm very happy that I got to speak with him. I posted a selfie with him on my Twitter. I see where you're coming from. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm all just saying. Again, I respect your opinion. I respect everyone's opinion when it comes to this sort of stuff. I'm just, the one thing I do not respect, though, is that if you are saying, like, no, I don't want Jason Tatum because Josh Giddey won't have the ball in his hands more, I don't respect that. That doesn't make any sense, right? But, no, I respect if you think that Josh Giddey is going to become better than what I think he's going to become. I'm just looking at right now, right, I'm looking at a guy that has is getting a ton of possessions right now, is the main guy for this Bulls team, and he still is an average of 20 points per game. I find it hard to believe that he's going to find a way to increase that to the point where I'm like, yeah, you're definitely worth, like, you know, keeping all these possessions, and you're suddenly just so much more efficient that you're going to be averaging 20 points per game or more. I find it hard to believe. It's hard for me to kind of figure out a way for that to happen unless he's going to really improve. And I just don't really see that happening at this point of his age. But yeah, he is only 23. He's not, 27. He's not a, guaranteed product at this point. So it could happen. It definitely could. I'm not saying it won't. I'm just saying that I don't personally believe in it right now. Sometimes I feel like it's going to be part of a bigger deal, but do you think it's for Ja? I do not think it is for Ja, Noel, but the issue is, Noel, is that we're getting word, at least from some people, like, that, like, when it comes to Simons, that it seems that the Bulls want to keep him. So I'm just confused about that. I'm like, I really honestly think that if you're going to keep both Simons and Ivey, I'm very confused at just like, what are you doing? But I thought Simons would just kind of be flipped. Again, you cannot combine a player that was just traded and combine it with another contract and put them together and trade them out at the same time. That is called aggregating the contract. That's not allowed. But excuse me, you are allowed to trade Simons just alone, like by himself, right? Like that is perfectly allowed. So I am interested to see if the Bulls do that, because I thought that's what they were going to do. I thought that the whole idea of the Vucevic and Simons trade was like, oh, hey, you traded Vucevic for Simons, great, awesome job. Now you're going to go flip Simons, and so whatever you get in return for Simons is what you got for Vucevic, right? And so, again, second round picks. If I got like 3 second round picks for Anfernee Simons, wow, I traded Nikola Vucevic for 3 second round picks. That's awesome, right? But I don't think that's what the Bulls are doing, honestly, which is just kind of I don't get it. So I'm right now, I don't get it right now, but I will hold judgment until the deadline is over about like, okay, like what exactly is the Bulls plan? Like we're probably going to get a more kind of clear understanding of what the Bulls really plan on doing with these guys. And so I will wait until obviously the deadline is over, because like there could be like another sequential move here or something that kind of helps make sense with all this. But yeah, right now I'm a little bit confused about it, because like I think Ivey is going to be here long term. Like there's no reason for you to trade for Ivey right now and then like just get rid of him. But I'm just like, okay, well, what is Simons doing here then? Like he is 26, but I would personally trade him if I were the Bulls. Yeah. Over the best, you guys Chicago need a ring. I mean, yeah. I mean, look, if I am hoping Josh Giddey becomes a superstar. I want to be clear about that. I want him to become a superstar. I just right now with my evaluation, I don't see that. So I'm hopeful. I'm still, again, even with the good moves today, I'm still not like sold on this front office doing the proper things right now, but it's been a good day right now, I think, for this time being. Yeah. I'm really surprised Grizzlies went full rebuild. I'm also surprised about that. I was honestly even more shocked that Utah was the team to go and get Jaren Jackson Jr. Like, out of all teams to trade for Jaren Jackson Jr., it was not Utah. I thought I thought like Miami might actually be like an option or something, but to see Jaren Jackson Jr. go to Utah, I was just like, what? Danny Ainge actually like cashed in on his picks. Wow. Buzelis is low IQ at times. It's frustrating. Yeah, I can definitely tell there's still moments with Buzelis where he's still like, you know, he thinks he can like get through an area of the floor where he's gonna drive, right? And he thinks he can get through it, but team comes in and pokes at the ball and it's a turnover, right? Now, again, I'm not blaming him for that. That's just gonna take time for him just to kind of learn and find counters to, or just honestly understand maybe I don't go ahead and make that sort of decision, right? I don't go ahead and drive into traffic, but it's only going to come with reps, right? So like tonight, for example, I'm very, very excited about for tonight because he's going to get a chance to really be on ball. And like I said, if he's going to have like 10 turnovers, so be it. I don't care. Get him the on ball reps, get him the time against some, like, you know, he's going to be facing some like decent defenders out there. Get him some time on ball. Giddey's not playing. Kobe, I'm gonna assume Kobe's not gonna play, but who knows, honestly, at this point. And obviously Vucevic is gone, so like there's a lot of shots out there all of a sudden now for Buzelis to go ahead and just go ahead and take, and I'm all for it. Just let him just try to figure things out, and I want to see him get those opportunities. You can't aggregate assignments into another package. Yes, correct. Buzelis takes bad shots at the end of games, fouls 3-point shooters in the last minute. It's annoying. I've saw it on him this year. So my only counter to that, though, the 51 is like I have seen Buzelis' struggles. Like, don't get me wrong, the perimeter defense has had some issues with him. The 3-point shots, I'm not upset by the way. I'm fine with him taking those threes. I'm honestly happy that he's taking them. Because like his overall shooting percentage is actually still pretty solid. Like it's not like he takes a lot of threes and is like tanking his overall like efficiency. It actually helps his efficiency overall. He's shooting 47% from the field and 36% from three. Like that to me is totally fine. The fouling the 3-point shooter at the end of the game was really bad. Yeah, I'm not gonna even try to like give him any sort of grace for that. But what I asked for from Buzelis this season was I asked for him to average 14 points per game, which he's doing that this season, right? And I asked him to be averaging 1.3 blocks per game, which he's also doing that this season. Okay, he is basically like, and to be clear, like if you think I'm just making that up on the fly, I'm not. There's a video. I think it's my most recent video actually because I haven't uploaded in forever. But there's a video that is titled "My 5 Predictions for the Bulls Seasons," and my last prediction was about Buzelis' numbers, and he's hit those numbers like easily for me, or I guess not, may not easily, but he's at or above those numbers in my opinion, or is at or above those numbers already. So in my opinion, I'm not upset at all how Buzelis has developed this season. I just want more on-ball reps for him because I saw in the most recent Miami game, for example, or the one the Bulls lost, or sorry, the Bulls won exactly. That like yeah, he had 8 turnovers or whatever it was. Like I feel like he doesn't have those turnovers if he's allowed to have the ball in his hands more at the beginning of the season. I could be coping, but a lot of those turnovers, in my opinion, I'm like looking at it, and it's because Miami is so focused on him that he's just not used to so much pressure because, like, again, no Kobe, no Giddey in that game. And so all of a sudden it's just like, oh God, like there's like a swarm of defense coming at me. It's like, if he just knew, like, okay, well, when I drive here, the defense is all eyes on me. Like, I got to be ready to make these passes, or I got to be ready for these defenders to try to strip the ball away from me. Like, those things come with time. It's just going to come with just repetition and just learning through those mistakes. But I just feel like if he just had those on-ball opportunities earlier in the year, like, we wouldn't be talking about this right now. But I understand, though, that the Bulls just, like, Billy Donovan looks at him not that way, which is pretty ridiculous in my opinion, and the way that Billy Donovan's handled his minutes this season makes absolutely no damn sense. But even with that being said, even with, I feel like he doesn't hit the ball enough, because like, he's, like, to be clear, like, his field goal percentage is actually higher than Josh Giddey's, just to be clear. Like, if we're gonna be, like, concerned about overall, like, field goal percentage or whatever, like, I mean, like, his field goal percentage is higher than Josh Giddey's this season. Like, he's been pretty overall damn efficient. Because his 2-point field goal percentage has been really solid. His 3-point percentage just kind of go through ups and downs, but it's 36%. That's just below league average. Like, yeah, that's totally fine. Like, I think he should have more reps due to the fact that he's actually been, like, pretty overall, like, efficiency wise, like, been pretty solid. But again, I'm very much aware that that's what the Wolves do, and so we don't get that, unfortunately. Yeah. Detroit kind of sold Jaden on the low. They had to, though, because they're not going to re-sign him, and he's a restricted free agent, but also so is Jalen Duren. And so they're going to pay Jalen Duren, but they're not going to pay Jaden Ivey. So this makes sense, I think, for them. I'm just a little bit shocked that they decided to actually take Kevin Huerter, though. That's like my only shock about it. It's just like they're really banking on Huerter to find his 3-point shot again, which I guess like history says you should, but for someone that has watched every single Kevin Huerter game this season, I wouldn't bet on it personally. He's been pretty rough, or at least recently. But I guess if you can kind of go back to his like beginning of the season form for him, like where he was actually like playing some solid defense and making his like 2-point shots pretty effectively, like yeah, he'll be effective for them at the end of the day. Kobe to Detroit looks like, oh, you mean Minnesota? Yeah, so Kobe to Minnesota looks pretty much less, like almost gone at this point because Minnesota's trying to go after Giannis. Which I don't fully know how exactly that's going to work out. I haven't, like, it'd be like Julius Randle and Jaden McDaniels, obviously, but I don't know about the pick situation. But yeah, Conley was a big key piece to facilitate a Kobe White and Minnesota Timberwolves trade. That is something that obviously is gone now, right? That option's kind of gone. So yeah, I think if Kobe's going anywhere, it's him going to Houston, which I'm looking forward to seeing if that does happen. Okay, so Kawhi Leonard, obviously, thank you whoever told me that. I'm sorry, I don't remember who did tell me that, but thank you for telling me that. Yeah, Kawhi Leonard's been selected to the All-Star game. Karl-Anthony Towns goes from the USA team to the World team now. So this is Giannis's replacement, basically. So Giannis obviously was selected to be an All-Star starter. He is not going to be playing the All-Star game due to his calf injury. So they had to select a replacement. Now Karl-Anthony Towns can play for either the World or USA as he's Dominican. So Karl-Anthony Towns is going to slide over to the World team, and Kawhi Leonard's going to be added to the USA team. So that's going to fix that issue that we saw there. I honestly don't know how to feel about the All-Star game, honestly. I don't know about you guys, but I'm definitely interested to see how the World does, because like that World roster, I know Giannis won't be on it, but like just think about this for a second. It's Luka Doncic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I know it's no longer Giannis, so I'll just say Cat for now, but Jokic and Wembanyama. Like that team is awesome. I love that team. It's gonna be so awesome just to watch them together. But it's just the All-Star game just doesn't have the same feel anymore, just because players don't try. But I'm hoping the World tries, because it would incentivize the USA players to not get beat by the World team, right? And so I really hope that the World team just like comes out and it's just like, oh, we're gonna wreck you guys. If Giannis was on that team, man, like it would be so hard, I feel like, to score on that team, just because you have Giannis and Wembanyama there. I understand, like, you know, Luka and Jokic aren't the best defenders, but I mean, that team just has insane size. Like, there's no small player on that roster. Your small forward is a 7-foot player that basically plays power forward and center anyway. Like, that World team was going to be awesome if Giannis was able to play in it, but unfortunately he's not able to. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing just how the All-Star game kind of works out. I'm just hoping we just get better basketball, because yeah, I'm sick and tired of just kind of like, it's either the All-Star game, I either want it to be like an actual competitive game, or I want it to be like how when Steph Curry like went off and like just like was hitting like every 3-point shot. Like, yeah, like, you know, I'm cool if the All-Star game is like you see these guys try like some insanely stupid things and like try to do like these ridiculous alley-oop dunks or try to hit like half-court shots and stuff like that. That's fine to me. But like I hate this. The stupid All-Star games are like legitimately like no one's doing it, like not even trying at all. Like, you know, if these players are out here trying to like do these like slam dunk contest dunks or whatever, like they're putting in some effort. They're putting on a show. If Steph Curry is actually trying to hit like 40-foot bombs, like yeah, he's giving effort. That's fun to watch. But if the players are just out there just like legitimately not trying to do anything, like that's where I have some issues. So I'm hoping that this All-Star format's going to incentivize the players to actually try. You know, hopefully the World team's going to come in and just try to just wreck the USA teams. That'd be fun to watch. Because like that World team, man, is just I'm like, oh my god, it's just MVP players. Like, if Giannis was there, like from in the starting lineup, it's just like, yeah, those are your MVP guys. It's basically all guys that have either won MVPs or I expect them to win MVPs at some point in their career. So that's just an insane roster just to look at. It's very fun to look at. So we will see what ends up happening here. But all right. With that being said, though, it is now officially 6:30 p.m. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead though, as the Bulls actually do play tonight. So I know that it's crazy to kind of think about it, but we have a game to cover tonight. So I'm gonna be going ahead and wrapping things up here on stream. So I just want to say to everybody that did come into stream tonight, or today I should say, and hung out with me for like 3 hours or was just here for a little bit, but all the people that did come into stream today, thank you guys so much for all tuning in, and I hope you guys all had a blast talking about what happened today, going over what happened, and just kind of evaluating what the Bulls exactly did today. It's a big day. I'm happy to see the Bulls were active. It's very much a surprise for me because I didn't expect this Bulls team to do anything, honestly. But I'm very, very happy to see the Bulls making some good decisions here. So it's such a low bar, but like that's where we are with this front office. But I hope you guys enjoyed the time on this channel, though. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Hope you guys enjoyed the community. We had a lot of regulars in the community today. I hope you guys enjoyed all of them. Big thank you to all of my community members. You guys are awesome. And you've all been incredibly important to help building this community. And then obviously for big days like this, you guys mean the world to me because you guys set the standard. You guys make sure that we stay respectful. We continue to make sure that we talk about basketball and we have good conversations overall on the stream. So thank you guys so much for all that. And then obviously for everyone that doesn't usually tune in, like, welcome in and thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed your time here. And if you all love Bulls content, please come back. Please subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna be streaming all season long. So obviously, you know, I'll be streaming after tonight's game. But I've been making Bulls content all season long. I'm going to go ahead and plug something. So, you know, I understand it's like, oh, shameless plug or whatever. But I do write for OnTap Sportsnet. So if guys have not checked out this website, OnTap Sportsnet covers all the major Chicago sports teams. And we have kind of teams for everybody. And as you can see here, I guess I haven't written in a while, I guess, but here's my most recent article. But if you have not checked out any of my articles, I write previews for games, but I also write analysis articles. So my most recent analysis article was just the Bulls midseason check-in. But I've also written articles about Ayo Dosunmu's insane efficiency that I talked about back in November. So please check that out. I promise you I will be writing about the trade deadline. It's just, obviously, this stream comes first, and then I will take care of video making, and then obviously then the writing portion of the content a little bit later. But I promise you I will be writing, so be on the lookout for that if I do go ahead and write anything for any Bulls content related. Also, I'm going to go ahead and drop a new link here. If you guys have... if you guys do not know, I do have a Discord. I'm still... Unfortunately, I like to think of myself as good with tech, but I'm also terrible with tech, I feel like sometimes. But if you want to go ahead and join our community Discord, we have some people in there. I really do appreciate everyone that is always like we have some chats in there. There's a lot of different channels within the Discord, so I will go ahead and drop a invite link right now that is going to be live. Unfortunately, this won't be live like in 24 hours, but it is live for the time being. So go ahead and if you want to join the Discord server, please go ahead and come on in to the channel. So there's that. Yeah, thank you guys again all so much for tuning into the stream. We have to go ahead and cover a Bulls game now, so I hope to see you guys back here after the Bulls take on the Milwaukee Bucks tonight at 9:30 p.m. So once the game ends tonight, come back here. We will be streaming, doing post-game content for the Bulls after the game, and then after that we can go ahead and talk about any other trades that have either happened or just go ahead and recap what the Bulls did today, as we are now less than 48 hours away from the trade deadline. So big day. Thank you guys all so much. I sincerely do appreciate it. If you have not hit the like button on the stream, please do. It helps me out a lot. This has been the biggest day so far in terms of overall just community activity within the channel. So thank you guys so much for it all. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys after this Bulls game at 9:30 p.m. Central Time or around there. All right. Thank you guys a lot. It's been a lot of fun. I'll see you guys later tonight. Peace.